This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica, transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne, serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas, and 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcast on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live and on Flow at Channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Thursday, July 16, 2026. The IMF is warning that global oil prices are set to climb even higher amid renewed hostilities between Iran and the U.S. The SLB says almost half of those who have outstanding student loans have not made a single payment in more than 90 days. West Kingston MP refutes account from Media House about the circumstances in which he was pepper sprayed by the police. In regional news, CARICOM Reparations Committee tells King Charles to give back the British Virgin Islands. In international news, survey shows that China and its president are more popular around the world than the U.S. and Donald Trump. In sports, West Indies to meet New Zealand in third ODI in Guyana. And in business, share price tumbles in Elon Musk's SpaceX after record-breaking IPO. The details after the break.
Listen up, motorists. Every driver's license starts with 0 demerit points. But when you commit certain traffic offences, points are added to your record after payment of the traffic ticket at the tax office or conviction by a court. Quick maths. 10 to 13 points, a 6-month suspension. 14 to 19 points, 1 year. And 20 points or more, a 2-year suspension. Don't risk it. Obey the road code, drive responsibly, and avoid demerit points. This message is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is warning that the safety net that has been keeping global oil prices from spiraling out of control during the ongoing war in the Middle East may soon disappear. It's a cautionary declaration that has direct consequences for oil-dependent nations like Jamaica. Dana Davey tells us more.
In a new analysis, the IMF says the conflict has triggered the largest disruption to the global oil market in decades. It notes that prices should have soared, but instead settled between $90 and $100 a barrel, far below what many had feared. The fund says the war effectively shut the Strait of Hormuz, choking off around a fifth of the world's daily oil supply. By the end of May, it says more than 1 billion barrels of crude had failed to reach the market, causing a major shortfall. For Jamaica, which imports virtually all of the oil, the warning lands at a difficult moment. Energy Minister Daryl Vaz says crude has moved from around $70 a barrel before the conflict to roughly $100 since. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness puts the rise in energy costs at about 60% since the fighting began in February. The pressure also feeds through electricity, where Jamaica already carries some of the highest power costs in the world. The IMF cautions that reliance on a single choke point leaves the global economy heavily exposed, and it urges countries to diversify both their energy sources and their supply routes, including through renewables. It also advises that any help offered to consumers be targeted at the most vulnerable and kept temporary. And even if a lasting agreement reopens the strait, the fund says it could take 2 to 3 months before oil flows return in significant volumes. This means that relief at the pump and on light bills may not come quickly. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
Now, nearly half of all Jamaicans who have loans at the Student Loan Bureau SLB up to March 2026 are delinquent. Executive Director of the SLB, Nikisha Walsh, made the disclosure at Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. More in this report from Gianni Willie.
An SLB beneficiary is considered delinquent after failing to repay their loan for 90 days. Nikisha Walsh told the PAAC that the delinquency rate at the Bureau has increased over the last 3 years. Up to March this year, 48.2% of borrowers held that status. At the same time last year, only 46.4% were delinquent, and in March 2024, it was 41.39%. The SLB's executive director says delinquents proffer several reasons for not repaying their loans, including health issues and anticipated loan forgiveness.
One, economic factors. So some of our borrowers said that financial hardship due to high cost of living. Some say irregular or unstable income from self-employment or contract work. Some will say competing financial obligations. We have employment-related factors. We have administrative or contact issues. So for instance, when we're trying to do skip tracing, they have missed correspondences. And then we have borrower attitudes and awareness, a lack of understanding of loan terms and repayment obligations. Some students said that they didn't know they must pay back the loan, and some say that they don't think that the interest should have been incurring while they're in school. Some believe that the prepayment can be postponed indefinitely, and some avoid engagement due to accumulative arrears or fear of collection agencies.
PAAC Chairman Peter Bunting suggested that interest accumulated over years dissuades borrowers from repaying their loans. Bunting argues that the SLB should make more effort to collect the principal in cases where interest has significantly ballooned.
Even as a commercial banker, it would make sense, having made provisions, clean up the loan, you can collect all your principal, and you move on, you stop collection efforts. The person gets a fresh start, and I just could not get Student Loan Bureau to budge. What is interesting is that they've collected zero on it since. They could have collected the entire principal, but they've collected zero. So this hard line doesn't even work because it just, the borrowers just become depressed and throw up their hands and resign themselves to the position. And in that type of behavior, Ms. Walsh, quite frankly, I find as oppressive. These students need help.
But Walsh reminded the committee that the SLB is a revolving loan scheme, a self-replenishing pool of capital. She revealed the Bureau had provided approximately $20 billion in loans over the past 5 years, with an accumulated interest of about $8 billion. However, she noted that those monies were funneled back into the fund to issue new loans to other qualified borrowers.
It's a case-by-case basis, and depending on the circumstances, then we will decide. But what we need to understand is a revolving fund, and while we are collecting $8 million in interest, we are also lending $20 billion in loan with a 48% delinquency rate. The idea of the Student Loan Bureau to ensure that every person in Jamaica has an opportunity to pursue a first degree.
Gianni Willie for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Walsh says that the SLB is looking to offer loans to students pursuing short courses.
The SLB is currently now developing a framework for short-term courses, and that include online certification or other certification outside of the traditional institution. So we did do a quick quick study to see where students' interests are lately, and we recognize that they want to study in terms of shorter terms. They don't want to be in school for 4 years and 3 years, and their interest is now in robotics and cybersecurity and those kind of certifications. So we are positioning ourselves to capitalize on that market, also in an AI training, because that is what is now being introduced in the market. So we are doing that, and we're hoping to complete that by the end of this financial year, and then we'll be marketing ourselves with the institution that we're partnering with to offer these certifications.
Nikisha Walsh, Executive Director of the SLB. She was speaking at Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. Member of Parliament for West Kingston, Desmond McKenzie, is rejecting a report from Radio Jamaica about the pepper spray incident involving him and the police. On Tuesday, McKenzie was pepper sprayed by members of the security forces as he responded to a police fatal shooting in Tivoli Gardens in the constituency. He told Nationwide News live from the scene of the incident on Tuesday morning that a woman who was being apprehended by the police ran and stood behind him in an attempt to seek refuge. He says the lawman then used the pepper spray, which caught him flush in the face. According to McKenzie in their report on Tuesday, Radio Jamaica said he, quote, visited the Darling Street police station with a crowd, end quote. McKenzie says that statement is false. He says the incident happened at the intersection of Darling Street, Bustamante Highway, and Spanish Town Road. He says anyone who knows the area knows that the police station is located elsewhere. In a statement issued by the Jamaica Labour Party, McKenzie says at no time did he visit any police station with a crowd. He says Radio Jamaica's reporting is adversarial and irresponsible. McKenzie says he's making a public statement because attempts to have Radio Jamaica retract the report have failed. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says he's heartened by steps taken by the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, to determine the cause of the June 5 island-wide blackout. Speaking Wednesday at the weekly post-cabinet media briefing, Vaz says JPS has sought the expertise of international consultants.
They brought in teams from Mitsubishi Electric Power Products, who conducted a steady state and transit stability analysis review of the system. Danavo Energy Solutions, formerly Quantum Services, did the root cause analysis, and Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories and General Electric both conducted a performance analysis and review of the protective devices. So this is in fact a difference in terms of how they have approached it and who they have gotten, because they have gotten top-class companies with worldwide reputations.
The findings of those international consultants are detailed in the report submitted by JPS to the minister days ago. Minister Vaz did not disclose what, according to the experts, caused the blackout. He says the government is reviewing the technical report.
Recognizing the national importance of this matter, the government has adopted an interministerial approach to the technical assessment of the reports. Subject matter experts are undertaking a comprehensive review to determine the root cause, evaluate the adequacy of the existing systems, and identify any corrective actions necessary to strengthen the resilience of Jamaica's electricity network.
Darrell Vaz, Energy Minister. Meanwhile, Vaz, in his capacity as Transport Minister, was asked about a call from stakeholders for the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, to determine the fares to be charged by the operators of public passenger vehicles.
That has been a call by some taxi associations and the opposition spokesperson. The truth be told, that I wouldn't have any issue with it, and it's something that we are actually looking at now in terms of how to make sure that we have a transparent, regular review for fare increases for public transportation operators.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications. President of Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODS, Edgerton Newman, is demanding an urgent and detailed review of the Road Traffic Act and Transport Authority Act. He told Nationwide News that both pieces of legislation are being used to turn transport operators into criminals.
TOD is calling for an immediate forensic revisit of the Road Traffic and Transport Authority Act. It's impossible to have an accident-free and a road fatality-free space, but we can reduce it drastically. In order to do so, we must revisit under which we operate, which is the 2 Act. A few days ago, my Deputy Director of Finance was shocked after sent to court, paying his warrant, took sick just to understand that he had an outstanding, the same warrant he went to court for. And this is hundreds of operators who are going through this. Picked up in a van, driving around halfway 3-4 hours before taking to Ellison Road to pay for a ticket that he pays for already.
Newman says the review will also help with the implementation of the demerits point system announced by the Transport Minister last month. He says that transport operators will take drastic steps to compel the government to fix what he says are 2 pieces of legislation unfit for purpose.
A review of these 2 acts is a must, and if we really want to get the demerit point system working and working well, something I believed in, because we need to get rid of some of our worthless road hogs, I believe that we must address, first of all, the planet on which it operates, which is the Road Traffic and the Transport Authority Act. And where on earth is the Transport Authority regulations that goes with the act? We can do better. The administration of this country can do much better. Administration of the public transport sector can do better. And so the TODS organization is saying to its members, if there's a move to review the act, boycott all upcoming traffic days across the island.
Egerton Newman, president of TODS. At least 2 school principals are rejecting the argument that the quality of the primary exit profile or PEP exams administered this year was substandard. Principal of Creative Kids Learning Academy in St. Andrew, Heidi K. Holmes, says the exams are geared towards developing critical thinkers.
The exam by no means was watered down this year. The standard was in keeping with what I've seen over the years. Even though I'm the principal, I teach at the grade 6 level. I've been in the classroom for over 25 years, and the difference that PEP has made is absolutely astonishing. You see students who are now critical thinkers. You see students who are problem solvers. They're able to associate real-life situations, and I'm sure that the high school must see an uptick in the level in which these students can reason and think when they get to grade 7. In my opinion, PEP is one of the best tools that have been implemented in the prep and primary schools.
Heidi K. Holmes, the principal of the Creative Kids Learning Academy, and a principal of Park Mountain Primary and Infant School in St. Elizabeth, Carleen Williams Heath, shared similar sentiments.
I do agree with the principal just now. The exam really top of the line, and the exam was really something that called on our students to think at a very deep level. I am really a fan of the PEP exam because it called on the teacher, the parents, all stakeholders to just do more. And it was really, really an exam that we're proud to know that our students from Park Mountain Primary came out on top.
Carleen Williams Heath, the principal of Park Mountain Primary and Infant School. They were speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday. Opposition spokesman on education, Damien Crawford, has questioned the quality of the exam administered and the literary mastery results as reported by the Education Ministry. According to him, the results should be viewed cautiously, given what he says is the ministry's tendency to manipulate data. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:18.
Portmore New Testament Church of God, celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, presents the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch worship experience. One night, one glorious worship encounter. Sunday, July 19 at 6 p.m. Victory Tabernacle, Bayside, Portmore. Gates open 5 p.m. Tickets pre-sold $3,500, VIP $7,000, pay-per-view $2,500 on SpurOpen.com or $4,500 at the gate. Children 12 and under, $1,200 at the gate. Tickets available at the Portmore New Testament Church office, Hopeline Pharmacy, Edgewater Medical, and Truly Me Weddings. Portmore New Testament Church of God Jubilee and the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch. There will be surprises.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the main reparations committee for Caribbean nations has called on the UK to return the British Virgin Islands and for King Charles to commit to decolonizing Britain's remaining overseas territories. The committee also warned of a resurgence of colonization around the world. That's according to a report published in the UK Guardian. In a visit to the UK this week, the CARICOM Reparations Commission decried the fact that the Caribbean remained the most colonized part of the world. It also recently launched a new manifesto outlining the moral, ethical, and legal case for reparations. The British overseas territories of Anguilla, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, Montserrat, and the Turks and Caicos have internal self-governance, but they remain under the control of UK-appointed governors. International. The world has largely viewed the United States more favorably than China for years, but those opinions have flipped in Beijing's favor this year. That's according to a new poll from the Pew Research Center published on Wednesday. More people have favorable views of China than the U.S. in 25 out of the 36 countries and territories that were surveyed, including Canada and Mexico. The poll was conducted from February to May, a period when the United States and Israel were engaged in a war against Iran. In only 6 countries, Poland, the Philippines, South Korea, India, Japan, and Israel, do people still see the U.S. more positively than China. Views in 22 of the 36 countries and territories also are more favorable of Chinese leader Xi Jinping than U.S. President Donald Trump, including in Canada, Mexico, and European powers including France, Germany, and the UK. However, people in many of the countries have low confidence in both men. It marks the first time in the roughly 20 years Pew has been tracking global opinions that China has been viewed more positively than the U.S. The UK Guardian is reporting that the poll results reflect a remarkable shift driven in part by tensions between the Trump administration and U.S. allies. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Beat the heat with Fontana Pharmacy and ATL. From now until August 15, 2026, spend $13,000 or more at any Fontana Pharmacy island-wide for a chance to win amazing prizes. The grand prize is a brand new AC unit from ATL. It's a hot summer, so beat the heat with Fontana Pharmacy and ATL. Visit our socials and website for more details. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Win with KFC, big league, join the league. Win a trip to Brazil, all you mean? Yeah. Big deal, meal deal, big match. Just buy KFC and win that. From now until July 20th, 2026, buy a big deal or meal deal for a chance to win a trip for 2 to Brazil. Courtesy of KFC, plus $500,000 cash from Best Dressed Chicken. 11 weekly winners score free KFC for a year. 65-inch TVs, smartphones, and more. Just WhatsApp your receipt to 876-784-7811 to enter and win big in the KFC Big League. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Bring back the fun of shopping. Discover the best finds in every aisle of amazing items. For your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, or any room, Azan Super Center has that perfect touch to elevate your space to the next level. Our team is ready to help you find what you are looking for you or someone else. So stop by our Crossroads store today and rediscover the fun of shopping.
Azan Super Center, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Time now for your morning sports. The West Indies and New Zealand are set to meet in the third one-day international in Providence, Guyana on Thursday starting at 1:30 p.m. Jamaica time. The five-match series is tied at 1 apiece. The series forms part of a busy international schedule for West Indies, who will also face Pakistan in a two-test series shortly. Coach Darren Sammy says the bruising schedule is part and parcel of the international game.
It's a tricky one because we started ODIs and T20s against Sri Lanka, finishing tests, go back into ODI, go into tests, and then afterwards is the CPL Caribbean T20. But that's the schedule. The white ball back to the red ball, and just know, you got to up the tempo here in the white ball, and guess what? Be very patient in the test cricket. But that's the life of the professional cricketer now. But again, it's the preparation we've put in, leading way at the front. Before the Sri Lanka series, we had a really good camp where the guys were working.
Darren Sammy. The West Indies Players Association, WIPA, has extended congratulations to the West Indies women after a 3-0 one-day international series sweep of Ireland. The series wrapped up on Wednesday with the Caribbean side recording convincing victories by 9 wickets, 6 wickets, and 64 runs. The West Indies also scored more than 200 runs in each of the 3 matches, highlighting an impressive all-round performance. Captain Hayley Matthews and former captain Stefanie Taylor both starred with centuries during the series, becoming the first and second West Indies women, respectively, to achieve the feat. Taylor also reached a historic milestone, becoming the first West Indies woman to score 10,000 international runs. Finally, in your morning sports, Restaurants of Jamaica, through its KFC brand, is investing $4.8 million to support 2 of the country's longest-running youth basketball programs. These are the annual Jump Ball Basketball Camp and the KFC Jamaica Basketball Association Star Search Basketball and Life Skills Camp. The contribution includes $2.8 million in cash and $2 million in meals, helping hundreds of young Jamaicans access free basketball training, mentorship, and personal development opportunities throughout the summer. National coach Rick Turner says KFC's long-standing partnership continues to create pathways for young athletes into higher education and competitive basketball.
To have a program like this that has been backed, sponsored, and really just helped so much by KFC and their commitment to youth basketball for so many years, it means a lot. And when you see kids returning year after year, you see kids that move from being campers to being coaches and building our family and growing our family, then I think it's easy to see when you come out here what it means to everyone involved.
Rick Turner. This year, Jump Ball celebrates its 30th anniversary, offering free camps across Kingston, Santa Cruz, Portmore, Ocherius, Montego Bay, and Mandeville. Meanwhile, the KFC Jabba Star Search Camp marks 25 years of developing talented players, with former participants including NBA players Nick Richards and Samarda Samuels. And that's it for your morning sports.
A voice you love returns home. This August, afternoons on Nationwide, on air and online will never be the same.
In business this morning, SpaceX shares dropped below their initial public offering price for the first time on Wednesday. This comes just over a month after the rockets to AI firm completed the biggest IPO ever and made Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. The shares slid 1.5%, falling below the $135 IPO price. It was also well below last month's high that briefly propelled the company's market valuation above those of Silicon Valley giants Microsoft and Amazon. Both those firms have longer public track records and stronger financial results. If the decline sticks, it will leave investors who bought into SpaceX at the IPO price sitting on paper losses for the first time. It's the latest reminder that Wall Street's enthusiasm can cool quickly, even for a company whose giant ambitions and Elon Musk backing briefly helped it fetch a valuation above $2.6 trillion in June. By Wednesday afternoon, that valuation slipped to $1.75 trillion. Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC will invest another $100 billion in Arizona as it expands its production in the U.S. It is a move the Commerce Department said will create tens of thousands of American jobs. TSMC makes the most advanced chips designed by companies such as NVIDIA and Apple. The news is a boost for President Donald Trump's drive to bring more advanced manufacturing to the U.S. It raises the company's total commitment to the U.S. to $265 billion, with Chief Executive of the company saying the increase will likely see 4 new plants built in Arizona. The announcement came as the firm announced a 77% jump in second quarter net profits. Profit from April to June jumped to $22 billion from just over $12 billion in the same 3 months a year earlier. Memory chip makers have seen demand boom in recent years as their products power AI data centers and smart devices. Strong demand for TSMC's chips has helped to make it Asia's most valuable company. Its share price has jumped by more than 55% this year to give it a stock market valuation of around $2 trillion. In foreign exchange trading now, the Jamaican dollar has gained 18 cents and will open against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $158.95. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has gained 74 cents and will open selling for an average $112.78. And finally, the Jamaican has gained $3.34 and will begin trading for an average $212.53 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:31.
This is Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact, brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
Did you know that it took 28 years for England to win a penalty shootout at the FIFA World Cup? Yes, that's a fact. England lost each of its first 3 penalty shootouts at the tournament. The 1990 semi-final defeat to West Germany in Turin, the 1998 round of 16 exit against Argentina, and the 2006 quarter-final loss to Portugal. England finally ended their shootout misery with a 4-3 victory over Colombia at the 2018 World Cup in Russia.
That was Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact, brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall. Our total tools. Weed waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Hey, turn up to 25. Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation, all inclusive flex? Yeah. Hard to jam in the cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
From the farmers in the fields, to the bakers who prepare it, to the teams that deliver every day, Juicy is built by Jamaicans. To our partners, thank you for standing with us. Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
Is this Nationwide this morning, or is this the Argentina show? Which is it? Which is it? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. You see, because we have no control over the board, and a certain gentleman that supports Argentina has control over the board. So, and he's turning it up in a camera. A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thank you so much for tuning in and hopping on over to join us this Thursday morning. It is Thursday, July 16, 2026. Look at the Argentina flags just loading up in the chat. And one of our YouTubers, S8, says, Tana, enough of that noise. You see, S8?
Yes, enough of the noise.
I wish I had control over the board because it wouldn't play none at all, but I don't. Jermaine's a bad man. But I don't. So Jermaine is a very happy camper this morning. Very, very happy camper. As well as all the other Argentina fans in the YouTube chat. And I bet there are many, many more out there. Somebody put a... Good morning to my friend Cheryl. Yeah, we win together, we lose together. Yeah, one France always. Alele blue. But I'm sure there are many more Argentina fans out there, whether you are at home, you're heading to work, or maybe you're on vacation and you're tuned in to Nationwide 90 FM. You're an Argentina fan, very happy camper this morning. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. I'm Tana Thomas.
And I'm Tomoy Campbell. Morning, everybody.
Good morning to you.
All right, Tana, this is not about any Argentina vibes today. We're switching the focus to something a little more serious. So, Tana, oftentimes we hear the expression once a man, twice a child. And it's so funny where we can draw inspiration because recently I was watching an episode of Law and Order. I hope everybody watches Law and Order SVU. And from one of the episodes, one of the what had happened was that someone, I think one of the characters, was just getting very old, and at some point had a conversation with one of the detectives, just really talking about once in their life they had a lot of vim and vitality, and they were doing a lot of things, but now as they've gotten older, they can't manage their affairs on their own. And one of the other characters, their grandmother would have passed away, but prior to passing away would have put up a lot of resistance to the fact that she was supposed to leave from where she lived to perhaps live in assisted living. And it got me thinking about how do we treat persons as they age? What's the context or the climate in Jamaica in taking care of our aging population, which we're often reminded of, that Jamaica is getting quite older and older. And I recently read an article published some time ago around June 7th or 9th where the Minister of Health said that we have around 350,000 people who are over the age of 60. And by the time we reach 2030, that is going to increase to 400,000. And so I thought to myself, people are getting older. We have a big aging population, but how do we actively and properly take care of these people as they get older? And I realized that we don't necessarily have any comprehensive legislation that tackles elder care, tackles issues like elder abuse. And I don't want it to seem as if we don't have things in place, because we do. We have a policy, I believe, that speaks to senior citizens. We have different agencies involved, but that's all they are, Tana, just policies with not enough enforceability and mechanisms that I think actively think about how people are going to live when they get to a certain age. And so, again, I don't like to make it seem as if things aren't be done. I know the Ministry of Health has a very phased program that they call an elderly plan. And on different levels, it's talking about things like a menopause and andropause sort of policy or a plan. Certain healthcare facilities are going to be in certain parishes. So there's work that is going to be done, and this is often coupled with some type of public education campaign. But these are often things that just remain in the pipeline. And I would want us to move from a state of ideating to actively implementing policies, and not just policies, but laws that have very strict enforceability mechanisms, penalties for whenever there are breaches, because you have to take care of the people in your society. And I'm often reminded from my days in law school that you really gauge a society and how it operates based on how it takes care of its most vulnerable people. And I don't think we often think about how elderly people will be navigating society. It's not enough to just say, yes, you have, somebody can help them if you go to the ATM, or somebody to help them in government institutions, but what robust is there? And then another aspect of it, what I would love to see is a lot more research and a lot more comprehensive or advanced assessment when it comes down to Alzheimer's and dementia, because I read recently that Jamaicans, almost 1 in every 16 person who is over the age of 60 suffers from dementia in Jamaica. I did not know that statistic, and I believe around 18 to 19,000 elderly persons are living in Jamaica as of 2026 with some type of Alzheimer's or dementia or vascular dementia. And then you also read news articles often. I saw one in January where it said that around 40 elderly persons are just missing. And when you read through the article, Tana, a lot of these persons were suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's. They're just not necessarily cognizant about their surroundings, and they've just wandered off. And so when you have staggering statistics like that, it clearly sends a signal that there's an issue that needs actively persons to address it, and it needs some sort of, not just you glossing over it, but for us to take it seriously. I feel sort of mushy for this area. I love my grandmother, and I like old people, and I think old people matter. And they come with so much wisdom, they come with so much expertise, they carry on the traditions. But at the end of the day, I also think about the fact that I want to grow old, and I want to be able to feel comforted that when I do age, that I'm in a population, or amongst rather a society that has properly and effectively catered to my mental health, my emotional, my psychological, and all the other needs that people need, and that we aren't just tossed aside because we've gotten older. And so I thought when I watched those episodes, it sort of allowed me to kind of think and say, what is Jamaica doing right? What could we be doing better? And how can we actually ensure that people, as they get older, are actually taken care of? So that's on my mind today, Ton. I don't know what's on your mind. I don't know what else is on our listeners' mind. But I honestly think that, as I said, at the end of the day, something comprehensive in terms of policy or laws, rather, not a policy, because we want something with teeth that effectively speaks to how we are going to take care and treat older people, and something, the policies that are already in place to actually speed up, because it's been a while since that. I think that senior citizens policy has been on the table from around 2021, so I know almost 2030 now. We kind of need to get this going. So yeah, that's on my mind this morning. And I see people in the chat.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness works to ensure the provision of quality health services and promotes healthy lifestyles and environmental practices for all Jamaicans. The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is
6:45.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Portmore New Testament Church of God, celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, presents the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch worship experience. One night, one glorious worship encounter. Sunday, July 19 at 6 p.m. Victory Tabernacle, Bayside, Portmore. Gates open 5 p.m. Tickets pre-sold $3,500, VIP $7,000, pay-per-view $2,500 on SpurOpen.com or $4,500 at the gate. Children 12 and under, $1,200 at the gate. Tickets available at the Portmore New Testament Church office, Hope Line Pharmacy, Edgewater Medical, and Truly Me Weddings. Portmore New Testament Church of God Jubilee at the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch. There will be surprises.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
A voice you love returns home.
Nice and clean, like Jesus police record.
This August.
Oh my God, my tympanic membrane.
Afternoons on Nationwide, on air and online will never be the same.
That time of the morning when we get our first report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Hey to you, Ludlow.
Morning, Ludlow.
Hey, Tana Thomas and Tamai Campbell, TC and TT respectively. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Also to everyone there in the studios, the listeners, the traveling public, and also our transport operator. It's bright and sunny. Contrasting yesterday, this time it was a bit hazy and overcast and all of that, but it's bright and sunny this morning. And guess what? The vehicular movement is good too. So depending on where you are, if you're in the Kingston 8, coming all the way down from Manor Park all the way Constant Spring Road, it's no problem. Short to the road off Olivia Road there, going all the way down to Grand Spain, it's pretty good movement. If you're in the Barbican Road, still Kingston 8, it's still pretty good movement going all the way around to East Kings House Road and Lady Muskie Road. It's pretty good, no problems as you make your way. But if you're going into Half a Tree, you're going to expect more traffic there, but it's not any real great build-up yet going into Half a Tree. Where they're coming from Constant Spring Road, Half a Tree Road, onto Eastwood Park Road, then onto South Road. It's pretty good for the time being. You hear what I said? For the time being. So until our second report at 7:20 is back to you, ladies. in the studios.
Thank you so much, Ludlow, for that first report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Up next, our word of the day. A word of the day is spelled V-O-T-A-R-Y, spelled V-O-T-A-R-Y.
Votary. Votary. Votary.
Votary is your word of the day. It's a noun and it means a person who is bound by solemn religious vows as a monk or nun. It also means an adherent of a religion or cult, a worshiper of a particular deity or sacred personage, a person who is devoted or addicted to some subject or pursuit, a votary of jazz, as an example. Votary is your word of the day, and dictionary.com did put a final definition here: a devoted follower or admirer. Votary, your word of the day, V-O-T-A-R-Y. And dictionary.com is telling us that the word is old, first recorded between 1540 and 1550. And to use it in a couple sentences, the young votary prayed at the altar every morning. The young votary prayed at the altar every morning. And another for you, she became a lifelong votary of yoga and meditation. So the first use of votary for that sentence is in relation to the definition that says a person who is bound by solemn religious vows as a monk or a nun. And the second sentence has to do with a person who is devoted or addicted to some subject or pursuit. She became a lifelong votary of yoga and meditation. V-O-T-A-R-Y. I do see some of you commenting in relation to TC's What's on My Mind this morning. Ramblin' Rose says, yes, TC, it's a needed conversation. Many older persons also live alone as well. And then Joe Kalu is asking, who's going to take care of them? M Jam says, good topic in relation to dementia. Cherry Care says, people should stop putting their family members in hospitals, and she has in brackets social care cases and taking up beds. Carrie Marks says, I remember in university in social work classes, that was a topic, and I realized that several elderly, they were tossed aside by their family members and they got sick or no longer could work or lost their mobility. She's explaining that at that point is when they were tossed aside. Brick Road says, problem is men and women don't raise families and grow old together. Most women are left after childbirth and that loneliness kicks in. J.A. Queen says, most young people today are very selfish and self-centered. Most don't even care for themselves, so they don't even care for the elderly. Are some of the comments coming in. Ramblin' says again, taking care of our bodies has nothing to do with aging. Shaking my head. You age regardless. Yes, being in good physical condition can give you a better quality of life. However, aging and its issues will happen. And I believe Ramblin' Rose is speaking here. You just don't know who's going to get Alzheimer's or dementia, come down with Alzheimer's or dementia. She's making the point that, listen, you could be someone who is taking care of yourself really, really, really well, and they'll still be inflicted with the condition. And Rick Jam NYC says, TCTT, young people, is this on a different topic, but I'll read it anyways. Young people need to have babies so that those babies can be there to take care of old people. The cycle of life. And Rick says, remember your WOM the other day. That was last week. And Miss Chin says, what is this on now? This sounds like a heat problem, but let me read it anyway. Miss Chin says, we're not sleeping at night. We burn the candle at both ends. We don't drink enough water. Our fruits intake is minimal, plus many live a stressful life. You must supplement even if you are in a stressful situation. And Joe says part of the solution is increasing the birth rate. And Popper says, same topic, Tana, not different. All right. And Rick says, it's a different Rick says, the way how young people live today, they won't reach old age. Most will die young. Oh dear.
It's very morbid, Rick.
Yeah. And Yeah, those are some of the comments coming in relation to your What's on My Mind this morning. That seems to be merged with some thoughts that people left off from last week in relation to your What's on My Mind last week. But we're going to take a break here on NTM. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
Aging and the problems associated with old age are particularly relevant to persons with Down's syndrome. Some of these age-related problems develop earlier in the life of a person with Down's syndrome than would normally be the case. Adults with Down syndrome experience accelerated aging. Simply put, they experience certain conditions and physical features that are common to typically aging adults at an earlier age. It's not fully clear why this happens, but it's largely believed to be related to genes, chromosome 21, that are associated with the aging process. This chromosome is important because Down syndrome is characterized by a third full or partial copy of the 21st chromosome. In Coming of Age today, we look at some of the common medical conditions individuals with Down syndrome experience throughout adulthood and as they age. Adults with Down syndrome experience sensory loss in the eyes and ears. Adults with Down syndrome are at risk of early cataracts and keratoconus. Cataracts cause a clouding of the lens of the eye, producing blurry and impaired vision. Keratoconus causes the round cornea to become cone-shaped, which can lead to a distortion of vision. Both of these conditions can be screened for by an eye doctor and should be assessed regularly. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk for conductive hearing loss. In addition, they tend to have small ear canals and frequently have earwax buildup that can impair hearing. Routine ear examinations can assess wax buildup and assess hearing loss. Undiagnosed sensory impairments are frequently mistaken as stubbornness, confusion, or disorientation in adults with Down syndrome. These conditions are quite common and, when properly identified, can be greatly improved with glasses, hearing aids, ear cleanings, and environmental adaptations. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk of developing hypothyroidism. Thyroid dysfunction is common in adults with Down syndrome and can lead to symptoms of fatigue, mental sluggishness, weight fluctuations, and irritability. Thyroid dysfunction is easily detected via a screening blood test that can be performed by a primary care doctor, and the treatment will usually include taking thyroid medication that regulates abnormal hormone levels. People with Down syndrome are at a higher risk for osteoporosis. This is especially so if they suffer from immobility, low body mass, family history of osteoporosis, early menopause, or long-time exposure to certain anti-seizure medications. Osteoporosis is screened for via a bone density test and can be treated through medication as well as other exercise and lifestyle modifications. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk of early onset Alzheimer's disease. The early onset of Alzheimer's is more common in adults with Down syndrome than in the general population. It is important to be aware of the connection between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease so that proper surveillance can be done to look for signs or symptoms of the disease. Persons with Down syndrome are at increased risk of developing obstructive sleep apnea. Signs of possible sleep apnea include snoring, gasping noises, daytime sleepiness, morning fatigue, or difficulty getting out of bed, excessive napping, and fragmented sleep. Left untreated, sleep apnea leads to symptoms of irritability, poor concentration, behavior changes, and impaired attention. It also puts a strain on the heart and the lungs and causes high blood pressure. Sleep apnea can be detected via a sleep study performed at a sleep lab, or in some cases, sleep testing can be arranged in the home. To help someone with Down syndrome stay healthy as they grow older, make sure they get regular checkups and are able to communicate about their medical health. That's it for Coming of Age today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
If you are dining with an escort or partner, your order is always given to your escort or partner. It is never given directly to the waiter or waitress. This is Lifestyle Pages on ordering food. After deciding what you want, tell your companion and let them relay both orders to the waiter or waitress. When dining with a man, you do not engage the waiter or waitress in conversation, other than to answer courteously if spoken to by the waiter or waitress. If you take several friends to a luncheon or dinner party in a restaurant, the meal should be ordered in advance. When a menu is headed table d'hôte, which in French means table of the host, the entire meal is included in the given price. On the other hand, a la carte means according to the card or menu, and this means that there is a separate price for each item of food ordered. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Distracted driving costs lives. Keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 for this morning, Thursday, July 16, 2026. The IMF is warning that global oil prices are set to climb even higher amid renewed hostilities between Iran and the U.S. The SLB says almost half of those who have outstanding student loans have not made a single payment in more than 90 days. West Kingston MP refutes account from Media House about the circumstances in which he was pepper sprayed by the police. And in international news, a survey shows that China and its president are more popular around the world than the U.S. and Donald Trump. The details after the break.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is warning that the safety net that has been keeping global oil prices from spiraling out of control during the ongoing war in the Middle East may soon disappear. It's a cautionary declaration that has direct consequences for oil-dependent nations like Jamaica. Dana Davey tells us more.
In a new analysis, the IMF says the conflict has triggered the largest disruption to the global oil market in decades. It notes that prices should have soared, but instead settled between $90 and $100 a barrel, far below what many had feared. The fund says the war effectively shut the Strait of Hormuz, choking off around a fifth of the world's daily oil supply. By the end of May, it says more than 1 billion barrels of crude had failed to reach the market, causing a major shortfall. For Jamaica, which imports virtually all of the oil, the warning lands at a difficult moment. Energy Minister Daryl Vaz says crude has moved from around $70 a barrel before the conflict to roughly $100 since. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness puts the rise in energy costs at about 60% since the fighting began in February. The pressure also feeds through electricity, where Jamaica already carries some of the highest power costs in the world. The IMF cautions that reliance on a single choke point leaves the global economy heavily exposed, and it urges countries to diversify both their energy sources and their supply routes, including through renewables. It also advises that any help offered to consumers be targeted at the most vulnerable and kept temporary. And even if a lasting agreement reopens the strait, the fund says it could take 2 to 3 months before oil flows return in significant volumes. This means that relief at the pump and on light bills may not come quickly. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
Now, nearly half of all Jamaicans who have loans at the Student Loan Bureau SLB up to March 2026 are delinquent. Executive Director of the SLB, Nikisha Walsh, made the disclosure at Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. More in this report from Gianni Willie.
An SLB beneficiary is considered delinquent after failing to repay their loan for 90 days. Nikisha Walsh told the PAAC that the delinquency rate at the Bureau has increased over the last 3 years. Up to March this year, 48.2% of borrowers held that status. At the same time last year, only 46.4% were delinquent, and in March 2024, it was 41.39%. The SLB's executive director says delinquents proffer several reasons for not repaying their loans, including health issues and anticipated loan forgiveness.
One, economic factors. So some of our borrowers said that financial hardship due to high cost of living. Some say irregular or unstable income from self-employment or contract work. Some will say competing financial obligations. We have employment-related factors. We have administrative or contact issues. So for instance, when we're trying to do skip tracing, they have missed correspondences. And then we have borrower attitudes and awareness, a lack of understanding of loan terms and repayment obligations. Some students said that they didn't know they must pay back the loan, and some say that they don't think that the interest should have been incurring while they're in school. Some believe that the prepayment can be postponed indefinitely, and some avoid engagement due to accumulative arrears or fear of collection agencies.
PAAC Chairman Peter Bunting suggested that interest accumulated over years dissuades borrowers from repaying their loans. Bunting argues that the SLB should make more effort to collect the principal in cases where interest has significantly ballooned.
Even as a commercial banker, it would make sense, having made provisions, clean up the loan, you can collect all your principal, and you move on, you stop collection efforts. The person gets a fresh start, and I just could not get Student Loan Bureau to budge. What is interesting is that they've collected zero on it since. They could have collected the entire principal, but they've collected zero. So this hard line doesn't even work because it just, the borrowers just become depressed and throw up their hands and resign themselves to the position. And in that type of behavior, Ms. Walsh, quite frankly, I find as oppressive. These students need help.
But Walsh reminded the committee that the SLB is a revolving loan scheme, a self-replenishing pool of capital. She revealed the Bureau had provided approximately $20 billion in loans over the past 5 years, with an accumulated interest of about $8 billion. However, she noted that those monies were funneled back into the fund to issue new loans to other qualified borrowers.
It's a case-by-case basis, and depending on the circumstances, then we will decide. But what we need to understand is a revolving fund, and while we are collecting $8 million in interest, we are also lending $20 billion in loan with a 48% delinquency rate. The idea of the Student Loan Bureau to ensure that every person in Jamaica has an opportunity to pursue a first degree.
Gianni Willie for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Walsh says the SLB is looking to offer loans to students pursuing short courses.
The SLB is currently now developing a framework for short-term courses, and that include online certification or other certification outside of the traditional institution. So we did do a quick study to see where students' interests are lately, and we recognize that they want to study in terms of shorter terms. They don't want to be in school for 4 years and 3 years, and their interest is now in robotics and cybersecurity and those kind of certifications. So we are positioning ourselves to capitalize on that market also in AI training, because that is what is now being introduced in the market. So we are doing that, and we're hoping to complete that by the end of this financial year, and then we'll be marketing ourselves with the institution that we're partnering with to offer these certifications.
Nikisha Walsh, Executive Director of the SLB. She was speaking at Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. Member of Parliament for West Kingston, Desmond McKenzie, is rejecting a report from Radio Jamaica about the pepper spray incident involving him and the police. On Tuesday, McKenzie was pepper sprayed by a member of the security forces as he responded to a police fatal shooting in Tivoli Gardens in the constituency. He told Nationwide News, live from the scene of the incident on Tuesday morning, that a woman who was being apprehended by the police ran and stood behind him in an attempt to seek refuge. He says the lawman then used the pepper spray, which caught him flush in the face. According to McKenzie, in their report on Tuesday, Radio Jamaica said he, quote, visited the Darling Street police station with a crowd, end quote. McKenzie says that statement is false. He says the incident happened at the intersection of Darling Street, Bustamante Highway, and Spanish Town Road. He says anyone who knows the area knows that the police station is located elsewhere. In a statement issued by the Jamaica Labour Party, McKenzie says at no time did he visit any police station with a crowd. He says Radio Jamaica's reporting is adversarial and irresponsible. McKenzie says he's making a public statement because attempts to have Radio Jamaica retract the report have failed. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says he's heartened by steps taken by the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, to determine the cause of the June 5 island-wide blackout. Speaking Wednesday at the weekly post-cabinet media briefing, Vaz says JPS has sought the expertise of international consultants.
They brought in teams from Mitsubishi Electric Power Products, who conducted a steady state and transit stability analysis review of the system. Danavo Energy Solutions, formerly Quantum Services, did the root cause analysis, and Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories and General Electric both conducted a performance analysis and review of the protective devices. So this is in fact a difference in terms of how they have approached it and who they have gotten, because they have gotten top-class companies with worldwide reputations.
The findings of those international consultants are detailed in the report submitted by JPS to the minister days ago. Minister Vaz did not disclose what, according to the experts, caused the blackout. He says the government is reviewing the technical report.
Recognizing the national importance of this matter, the government has adopted an interministerial approach to the technical assessment of the reports. Subject matter experts are undertaking a comprehensive review to determine the root cause, evaluate the adequacy of the existing systems, and identify any corrective actions necessary to strengthen the resilience of Jamaica's electricity network.
Darrell Vaz, Energy Minister. Meanwhile, Vaz, in his capacity as Transport Minister, was asked about a call from stakeholders for the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, to determine the fares to be charged by the operators of public passenger vehicles.
That has been a call by some taxi associations and the opposition spokesperson. The truth be told, that I wouldn't have any issue with it, and it's something that we are actually looking at now in terms of how to make sure that we have a transparent, regular review for fare increases for public transportation operators.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications. President of Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODS, Edgerton Newman, is demanding an urgent and detailed review of the Road Traffic Act and Transport Authority Act. He told Nationwide News that both pieces of legislation are being used to turn transport operators into criminals.
TOD is calling for an immediate forensic revisit of the Road Traffic and Transport Authority Act. It's impossible to have an accident-free and a road fatality-free space, but we can reduce it drastically. In order to do so, we must revisit under which we operate, which is the 2 Act. A few days ago, my Deputy Director of Finance was shocked after sent to court, paying his warrant, took sick just to understand that he had an outstanding, the same warrant he went to court for. And this is hundreds of operators who are going through this. Picked up in a van, driving around halfway 3-4 hours before taking to Ellison Road to pay for a ticket. And he pays for already.
Newman says the review will also help with the implementation of the demerit point system announced by the Transport Minister last month. He says that transport operators will take drastic steps to compel the government to fix what he says are two pieces of legislation unfit for purpose.
A review of these two acts is a must. And if we really want to get the demerit point system working and working well, something I believed in, because we need to get rid of some of our worthless road hogs, I believe that we must address, first of all, the planet on which it operates, which is the Road Traffic and the Transport Authority Act. And where on earth is the Transport Authority regulations that goes with the act? We can do better. The administration of this country can do much better. Administration of the public transport sector can do better. And so the TODS organization is saying to its members, if there's a move to review the act, boycott all upcoming traffic days across the island.
Edgerton Newman, president of TODS. At least two school principals are rejecting the argument that the quality of the primary exit profile or PEP exams administered this year was substandard. Principal of Creative Kids Learning Academy in St. Andrew, Heidi K. Holmes, says that the exams are geared towards developing critical thinkers.
The exam by no means was watered down this year. The standard was in keeping with what I've seen over the years. Even though I'm the principal, I teach at the grade 6 level. I've been in the classroom for over 25 years, and the difference that PEP has made is absolutely astonishing. You see students who are now critical thinkers. You see students who are problem solvers. They're able to associate real-life situations, and I'm sure that the high school must see an uptick in the level in which these students can reason and think when they get to grade 7. In my opinion, PEP is one of the best tools that have been implemented in the prep and primary schools.
Heidi K. Holmes, the principal of the Creative Kids Learning Academy, principal of Parktown Primary and Infant School in St. Elizabeth, Carleen Williams Heath, shared similar sentiments.
I do agree with the principal just now. The exam really top of the line, and the exam was really something that called on our students to think at a very deep level. I am really a fan of the PEP exam because it called on the teacher, the parents, all stakeholders to just do more. And it was really, really an exam that we're proud to know that all students from Park Mountain Primary came out on top.
Carleen Williams Heath, the principal of Park Mountain Primary and Infant School. They were speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday. Opposition spokesman on education Damon Crawford has questioned the quality of the exam administered and the literary mastery results as reported by the Education Ministry. According to him, the results should be viewed cautiously given what he says is the ministry's tendency to manipulate data. Turning now to international news, the world has largely viewed the United States more favorably than China for years, but those opinions have flipped in Beijing's favor this year. That's according to a new poll from the Pew Research Center published on Wednesday. More people have favorable views of China than the U.S. in 25 out of the 36 countries and territories that were surveyed, including Canada and Mexico. The poll was conducted from February to May, a period when the United States and Israel were engaged in a war against Iran. In only 6 countries, Poland, the Philippines, South Korea, India, Japan, and Israel, do people still see the U.S. more positively than China. Views in 22 of the 36 countries and territories also are more favorable of Chinese leader Xi Jinping than U.S. President Donald Trump, including in Canada, Mexico, and European powers including France, Germany, and the UK. However, people in many of the countries have low confidence in both men. It marks the first time in the roughly 20 years Pew has been tracking global opinions that China has been viewed more positively than the U.S. The UK Guardian is reporting that the poll results reflect a remarkable shift driven in part by tensions between the Trump administration and U.S. allies. And that's it for the news at 7.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:19.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocharis, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville it's 22 degrees Celsius.
A voice, a personality you love returns to Nationwide this August. Afternoons on air and online at Nationwide will never be the same.
That time of the morning when we get our second report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Hey, Ludlow.
Morning again, Tona.
Morning to you.
Right, okay, and to our listeners, and again, our motoring public and our visitors, morning time, those of you who are here and those of you who are leaving, I hope you had a great experience. And in the meantime, it's really bright and sunny now, and as I said, it's still pretty good going, but just remember that if you're going through a half a tree, it's a little bit busy. Well, going through Mullines Road onto Eastwood Park Road, there's more traffic there, going across to Southwood Avenue, but you can make your way. Same thing if you're along Constant Spring Road, slightly busy, a bit busy, I would say, going through Half a Tree, then onto Half a Tree Road, and the same thing along Hope Road, and going further down Half a Tree Road, it's pretty good. If you're going onto Cargill Avenue, no problems. You see a few vehicles coming up Balmoral, going down Balmoral, and some coming up at Cargill Avenue, and then going onto Ruthven Road, and then from Ruthven Road, they probably go across to Winchester, then further out onto Hope Road. But for the time being, it's not too bad. Also in New Kingston, Oxford Road is getting a bit busy, and I know that will peak as the morning progresses, but so far it's not too bad going out on Old Road and going across to Tom Redcombe, where the movement is also good. Vehicles coming from in the vicinity of Arthur went onto Tom Redcombe, and then going further down to Camp Road, and some of it making its way onto Caledonia, Maraska, and all these areas. But it's building, but I would say, I can tell you for sure after this report, like maybe about 9 o'clock, 9:30, you'll find much more vehicles on our road. And in the afternoon, that's where it really peaks, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. All right, it's a second report, and as usual, drive safe. At Street Smart, we say your safety is all concerned. Over to you, Tona.
Thank you so much, Ludlow, for that second report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Up next, the front page.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned in to our discussion segment, The Front Page. This morning on The Front Page, we're focusing on the Student Loan Bureau. I did see a lot of you reacting in the chat to what came out of the PAAC yesterday when the student loan appeared before it in relation to the delinquency rate. Now, the SLB is saying that nearly half of all Jamaicans who have loans at the Student Loan Bureau SLB up to March 2026 are delinquent. Executive Director of the SLB, Nikisha Walsh, made the disclosure at Wednesday's sitting of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC. In her overview, Walsh told the PAAC that the delinquency rate at the Bureau has increased over the last 3 years. Up to March this year, 48.2% of borrowers held that status.
Currently fund up to 10,000 students annually, and we are funding the major institutions such as the University of West Indies, University of Technology, Northern Caribbean University, Caribbean Maritime University, Norman Mann Law School, University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, community colleges, Mona School of Business, teachers' colleges, and other colleges and technical institutions. Over the last 5 years, we have disbursed approximately $20.8 billion, and we are lending for 3 products. The targeted loan product, that's the premier product, where the students get a moratorium period. That loan runs between 3 to 9.5%, and you have up to 11 to 17 years repayment after school. We also have the pay-as-you-study product. This product is for parents who want to take loan on behalf of their students, and also for students who are employed and can repay the loan currently, and that interest rate is 6%, and that runs to 10 years repayment. We also have the postgraduate loan for students who want to pursue postgraduate studies, and that interest rate is 9.5% with a 10 years repayment period. The SLB also offer benefits to our targeted customers, such as good standing benefit. That is a 2% reduction in your interest rate for students who are in school and maintain a 2.5 average GPA, and also for students who are in repayment and their repayment status is current. So they will get a benefit of 2%. We also offer child of a public employee a 1% reduction in their interest rate. We also offer special benefits to the STEM program, so persons who are pursuing STEM programs. They get an interest rate of the 6%, and if you are employed in a charitable organization, you will get 10% reduction in your loan balance after we would have confirmed. One of the challenges the SLB currently faces is our delinquency rate. As at March 2026, our delinquency rate is 47.5%, and that still remains a challenge to the SLB. We currently get funding through our interest collection. We also have an investment portfolio that we earn interest on, and we get support from the Ministry of Finance.
That's Nikisha Walsh. She is the Executive Director of the SLB. We are playing for you excerpts from the PAAC sitting yesterday where the Executive Director appeared before it. Now, she says the Students' Loan Bureau told the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee that the Bureau has provided loans to more than 37,000 students over the past 5 years.
So for the past 5 years, we would have given loans to 35,948 students who took the targeted product, 995 students who took the PACE product, and 376 students who took the postgraduate product. So in all over the last 5 years, we would have given loans up to 37,319 students.
Okay, I might just ask some clarifying questions. These loans speak to the year that they're initiated or the year that they're in effect while the student is at school. So for example, you had quite a dramatic drop from 21, 22 of 11,100 loans. The following year were cut in half. So first, the question is, I want to understand why that happened, but just to be clear that I'm understanding what the numbers represent. This would be the year that the loan is initiated.
Yes.
And then that loan wouldn't be counted.
Loan.
So, yes, could you explain what would have caused such a dramatic fall off between 2021, 22 and the succeeding 2 years?
All right, so 2022, 2023 was the year when three things happened. One, there was a reduction in enrollment in the university coming off the COVID period. So persons who would have been enrolled in 21, 22, we are seeing where in 22, 23, not much returning students came back for the loan. Two, we introduced our new loan system, which had some glitches in the initial stage. One of the issues that we saw where we introduced a guarantor journey. At that time, we needed a guarantor to secure a loan, and that journey was electronic, where the guarantor would have gotten an email to complete their information so the student can progress in their loan application. What we found in that year was that about 60% of the guarantor were not willing or able to go on the portal and guarantee the loan for the students. So some of the students, they did not complete their process or find alternative arrangement. But that was rectified when we removed the guarantor system, and then we saw the numbers coming back. So in 2025, we are now back at 8,005, even with the decline in enrollment rate across various institutions. So when we did our study, we recognized that there was a significant, around 25% decline in many of the tertiary institutions because students, I would say, is not wanting to go to university like back in the days.
I think it also has to do with that the cohort is shrinking. Each year, if you look at
Yes.
what is happening at PEP or CSEC, you'll see that the cohort has actually taking those exams
Yes.
have fallen by about 40%
Yeah, so that
over the
also
last
affects
10 or
our enrollment.
20 years.
Currently, 100% of our approved SLB loans, valued at 20.8 over the 5 years, we allocate to the institution that follows. So UWIG gets the highest portion. They get 30% of the funding. UTEC get 27% of the funding. NCU gets 9% of our total funding. CMU gets 5% of the funding. Norman Mandela Law School gets 7% of the funding. UCC, or the University of Commonwealth Caribbean, gets 5% of the funding. Other community colleges get 6% of the funding. Mona School of Business, 1%. Teachers' colleges, 8%. And other university or technical institution, they get 2% of our funding. The other question was about if SLB provides short-term loans for training programs less than 9 to 12 months. So SLB currently does not fund courses for 9 to 12 months. However, since 25-26, we would have developed a policy framework targeting short-term courses because we recognize that most students who are not enrolled in a tertiary institution, they want to take the option of doing short-term courses, whether online or in other institutions. So we are currently developing a program under the Pay-As-You Study program where we will finance up to $600,000 at an interest rate of 6% between 1 to 5 years repayment. So we are currently in testing through the loan management system, and we'll be rolling out that in this financial year. The interest rate and repayments period, I would have said earlier, SLB offers interest rate for 3 products: the targeted loan between 9.5% in repayment, and have a 11 to 17 years repayment. The Pay-As-You Study loan, 6%, a 10 years repayment, and the post.
You went over that already, but could you just tell us what the average rate is? 3 to 9 is quite a wide range.
Okay.
What's the weighted average rate that you charge?
The weighted average rate would have been about 8% because majority of the students are at the 9.5%.
Okay.
All right. So just to give an example why a student would benefit for 3% interest. So remember what I said before, we have the STEM program, which is 6%. And if that student is in good standing, they will get an additional 2%, that brings it to 4%. And if that student is a child of a public sector employee, they get a 1%. So we do have students that are benefiting from as low as 3% interest rate.
You're hearing there Nikisha Walsh. She is the Executive Director of the Students' Loan Bureau. She appeared before the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee yesterday, and she was answering questions there in that clip from the chairman of the PAC, Peter Bunting. A lot of you are engaging on the topic and placing your comments in the YouTube chat. I see Carlene saying student loans need to revisit the programs they fund. Some courses are not marketable. King Royal says, I was born poor. I took student loan and I repaid before the period ended because I knew others were coming. Speaking of the revolving loan nature of the SLB, I made sacrifices governed by a moral principle. Some people genuinely don't like to repay. He also says, don't be fooled. Many harbor the idea of non-repayment. They're treated as a financial instruction, or they treat their financial instruction the same. These things will affect their credit score in the long run. Bonnie says at Tana, many of these borrowers are making zero effort to repay the Bureau. They believe that the government owes them something. And Bonnie also says many believe keeping up appearances is more important than keeping their obligations. They love the hype life. J.A. Queen says most people with student loan, after 3 months, they take loans to purchase expensive apartments and motor vehicles. Sometimes they are so worthless they lose the car and the house because of non-payments. Andrea says SLB track and garnish salaries and or put a stop order at all ports on all chronic delinquents. Brick Road says my issue is how could these tertiary students not know they had to repay their loan. K. Lloyd says another issue is when a person is abroad and they're trying to repay the loan and they're having issues with their accounts. They can't get through the SLB. They can't get the correct information, and no one is following up. Master Jam says, I repaid my SLB loan by using overtime pay, and it took 10 years. And Carlene says, I don't agree with publishing the faces without understanding the situation of each delinquent first. And another, as we go to the break, Sharon Finley says they need to partner with schools and institutions of employment to withhold benefits or certification if the loan is not repaid. This is irresponsible, and some people who need the loan can't get it. We're going to take a break here on Nationwide this morning and come back with more.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:37.
Morning after morning, you've made Nationwide 90 FM part of your routine. So let's take this connection one step closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club and be part of it officially on Patreon.
Family.
Whether you're heading back to school or pursuing new qualifications, at JMMB Bank, graduate loan covers your tuition and related expenses with one unsecured loan, flexible repayment terms, and up to 7 years to repay. It's your time to shine. Apply today at jmmb.com. Conditions apply.
A voice you love returns home. This August, afternoons on Nationwide on air and online will never be the same.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. We're playing for you excerpts from the sitting of the PAAC yesterday, where the executive director and her team, Nikisha Walsh from the SLB, appeared before the PAAC, and a highlight out of her presentation was the delinquency rate at the SLB. She said nearly half of all Jamaicans who have loans at the Student Loan Bureau SLB up to March 2026 are delinquent. I see Sydney says they should go back to them using guarantors. Patrick says the system is flawed. To get a job in the public sector nowadays, you have to have a degree, so you have to borrow to study to get it. Grace says, I took SLB. Too many of us prefer to beg. I paid my loan in bulk and by... Oh, and Grace says, and by my quintet done. Thanks be to God. And is this Music Man C says, I need people to take a step back and consider that while some borrowers take advantage of the system, there are some that really aren't able to pay it back, and SLB is very inflexible. Georgie Porgy Walton says, if them can't pay off them loans, find ways to pay it off or go to heart if them can't pursue them goals. And Strongling says, okay, not going to read that one. All right, keep your comments coming in reaction to what was shared in the PAAC yesterday, what's been played here on NTM this morning. All right, so continuing the excerpts from the SLB Executive Director, she revealed that the Bureau had provided approximately $20 billion in loans over the past 5 years with an accumulated interest of about $8 billion. All right, we're having just a bit of a technical issue with that clip, but just to remind some of our listeners, because I did see a comment indicating something about students who are SLB borrowers who had gone overseas and are delinquent with their loan, what the SLB should do about that. And there's something that the SLB had placed on the table that they were thinking of doing. I'm not sure if it was implemented, but I'm going to remind you of that after we take this clip.
That's the exception.
What are their annual maximum loans for any one student or program of study? So currently the SLB lends up to $1 million per academic year for the targeted loan. We lend up to $1 million per academic year for the pay-as-you-study loan, and we lend up to $1.8 million for those who are pursuing postgraduate loan. However, a student may be eligible for $2 million, which is a combination of the targeted and the pay-as-you-study loan. So therefore, a parent can take a loan on behalf of their child, and the child can take a loan for themselves. For the pay-as-you-study loan, the parent will repay immediately, and the child will repay when they graduate. So there's a maximum of $2 million that can be allocated to any child. And for students who are pursuing the legal education certificate, we provide up to $1.5 million per academic year. What is the value of the loans approved in the last 5 years? I would have mentioned the total value is $20.8 billion. 21-22, it was 5.6. We dropped to 2.9 billion in 22-23. We went up to 2.9. We're still at 2.9, 23-24. We went up to 4 billion in 24-25, and we are now at 5.2 in 25-26, and we expect this to be higher in 26-27. We also supply granting aid or offer granting aid for those students who are on the PATH program, that they're automatically eligible, students who are wards of the state, and students who are from the low-income household. So for the last 5 years, we would have offered or disbursed approximately $938.5 million valued for the granting aid. We would have disbursed the majority in 25-26 because we would have included those students who would have impacted through Hurricane Melissa. How much of SLB revenues over the past 5 years were derived from loan repayment, investment income, and new Government of Jamaica subvention? So over the past 5 years, we would have collected $8 billion from our interest repayment, $3 billion from investment income. We would have received $17 million from grants for STEM program, and the government would have contributed $3.2 billion to our revenue. And what was the delinquency rate for the last 5 years? So in March 2022, our delinquency rate on the repayment loans, so the total loans included loans in moratorium, but we concentrate on the repayment loans because those are loans that students are repaying now. So in 2022 in March, it was 55.5%, 23, 57.21%, 24, 41.39%, 25, 46.44%, and in March 2026, it was 48.22%.
Just again for clarification, on table 1, collections and delinquency rate, under delinquency rate, you have total loans, including loans in moratorium, and then you have a percentage. How can a loan in moratorium be delinquent?
No, it's not delinquent. That's how we capture the data. That's how I said we will focus on the repayment loans. That's the delinquency rate that we use.
Okay,
but
so we don't consider that column?
Don't consider that part.
Okay, so the column that says 55 in March 22 would be the relevant?
That would be the relevant.
So more than half of your loans are delinquent?
Yes, it is.
Okay. In that year anyway, it comes down to slightly under.
Yes, and we are putting measures in place to bring down the delinquency rate. So what generally are the main reasons given by borrowers for failing to repay? So we have a list of issues. One, economic factors. So some of our borrowers said that financial hardship due to high cost of living. Some say irregular or unstable income from self-employment or contract work. Some will say competing financial obligations. So therefore, when they go into repayment, they now have rent and utilities and family and other debts. We have employment-related factors. So we have underemployment after graduation, and we mostly see this for the persons who are pursuing law, because their loan period their loan is normally higher because they have 5 years of loan. So you have underemployment, you have unemployment after graduation, and you have some students who pursue further studies and delay repaying their current loan. We have administrative or contact issues. So for instance, when we're trying to do skip tracing, they have missed correspondences. They will have difficulties accessing repayment channels or repayment information, and we have rectified that since by launching the online portal. So for students, especially for those who migrate, they have the ability now to access their portal wherever they are and make payments on their account. So I'm saying in 26, 27, we're hoping to see a decline in the delinquency rate. And then we have borrower attitudes and awareness, a lack of understanding of loan terms and repayment obligations. Some students said that they didn't know they must pay back the loan, and that is real. Some say that they don't think that the interest should have been incurring while they're in school. Some believe that the prepayment can be postponed indefinitely, and some avoid the engagement due to accumulative arrears or fear of collection agencies. Personal circumstances, so we do have persons with health challenges affecting the ability to work. We have students that say that they have to care for their ill family members and other personal and family crises. But just to point out, for the persons who have health challenges, we have an insurance fund. So when the students make payment, a portion goes to the insurance. So in case of disability or death, then we will close the loan. So that is available for them. And then we have social behavior.
I don't think it makes much difference to the ones who have died.
At the time, it would have been for the guarantors. So we know that we recently removed, because if that's the case, the guarantors would have to repay the loan.
Yeah.
And then we have social behavior, anticipating loan forgiveness and prioritizing other financial commitments while treating student loan payments as optional, and we do have those students. All right, what collection methods are employed by the SLB? The implementation of salary reduction orders. So we have salary reduction orders that they sign upon application. So sometimes when we contact the TAJ database to have an idea of where they are located, we will send the salary reduction orders to those employments so we can get repayment. In terms of the enhanced borrowing tracking through TRN and data sharing, and that of course is with the licensed credit bureaus and TAJ of course. We strengthen partnerships with key public and private stakeholders. One of such is the Ministry of Education. So we have a program where and it's normal for the teachers. So when they want to change their visa status, they would have to write to the SLB to get clearance to see if they're indebted, and that works. So they normally have to clear their debt before they get the clearance to change their visa status. So we have that relationship with Ministry of Finance and also the Ministry of Education. We do loan restructuring and repayment arrangement options. So for persons who go into delinquent status, we do offer the position to restructure their loan. We have a policy in place and all that is done. And they also have, in terms of lump sum payments, for them to get back in good standing. Just to note, we have a debt collection agency pool that we source the loans that are over a year too. So normally, even though the delinquency, you are delinquent when you're 90 days in arrears, what we tend to do, we keep those loans internal and try to contact the customers. So we wait up to a year time to send them to the collection agents to get, for them to pursue collections. However, once the students clear their arrears, it is sent back internally, so there's no more collection fees applied to their account.
You're hearing there Nikisha Walsh. She is the Executive Director of the Students' Loan Bureau. We're going to take more of your comments in the chat after the break. I see the significant engagement in the chat this morning on this topic. We take a break on NTM and come back with those.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:50.
Hawkeye is protecting homes, businesses, and communities with trusted security solutions. The temperature by Hawkeye, securing what matters most, is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 24 degrees Celsius in Kuku Mandeville.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
A voice you love returns home.
Mighty God of Daniel.
This August, afternoons on Nationwide On Air and online will never be the same.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Hopping back into the comments section on this topic of delinquency, student loan bureau borrowers and delinquency. Ursuline Bond says the only loan that I ever took out was a mortgage because I hated so much I paid it off quickly. Colleges, no loans. Gatwick says those who are genuinely not able would genuinely meet with the SLB and make payment arrangements. They don't run away. OMS Associates says use the technology and credit bureau to find the working, irresponsible, unreasonable borrowers. And Cheryl says some of the students don't care, and that's not right. Gathic says again, yet the employment rate is so low, that means most are working. The issue is money management. MJAM says, why are the self-righteous on here judging others' loan repayment? Leonard says, you can't take student loan and saying you didn't know that you had to pay it back. That's just ignoring your obligation. J.A. Queen says, right now in Jamaica, there are parents suffering because they took out students' loan for their children and the child never paid it back. So old parents still have to be paying back that loan. Grace says, I am the guarantor for two students. One is finished paying and the other is paying. And Joseph Dawkins says, first wrong move, removing the need for a guarantor. We live in a society where persons generally don't honor their commitment. hence the problem with collections. Georgie Porgy Walton says, what about those who are facing financial problems or not employed? How are they going to pay it? Orange says, the system in Jamaica does not promote accountability across the board, and so generally people don't feel obliged to fulfill their obligations. They won't do that in international jurisdictions. Philip Jackson says, people who borrow loans must do so on the ability to repay, knowing very well that you don't have the ability to repay, but to take it out. And Barbara Ellington says, many Jamaicans don't believe in paying car loan, rent, mortgage, courts, partner, student loan, utility bills, or other loans. Garnish wages, I say, Barbara Ellington is placing on the table. Roxana Blackwood says, I think they should pay every cent that they borrow. If you don't, what does that mean for other people who really want to loan? Lloyd says, Tana, sometimes the portal doesn't work. Sometimes the amount owed on the portal is incorrect. Even if you go down to SLB, your information isn't updated, so you can't get actual figures you owe. So I'm going to pick out this comment and put it to the side to pass on to SLB Lloyd. Philip Jackson says again, people often tell you the sweetest stories to borrow your money, but when time comes to pay it back, they come with the world of hard luck and duppy stories. So to the information I wanted to share with you guys earlier about SLB and those who are overseas and do not want to pay back their student loan. I don't know if that was brought up in the PAC yesterday and what Miss Walsh said about it, but there was a story back in 2024 out of the SLB that says Jamaicans with outstanding student loans who migrate to the United States could encounter obstacles when updating or renewing their immigration status due to a recent partnership between, at that time it was recent, partnership between the Jamaican and U.S. governments aimed at tracking down borrowers with unpaid debts. Cheryl Sergio, manager of the loan servicing department at the SLB at the time, told JS News that the new arrangement is designed to help identify Jamaican nationals in the U.S. who have outstanding student loan balances. Sergio explained that the partnership addresses cases where professionals migrate and default on their loans, leaving the SLB with no way to track them. And she said, when they leave, we're not able to fully track their whereabouts. Those loans tend to go bad. And as part of the collaboration, U.S. immigration authorities would check with the SLB to verify whether Jamaicans applying for visa renewals have any outstanding student loans. Persons who may have migrated on the J1 visa and want to renew their status with the U.S. Before they can actually do that, there's an arrangement where the U.S. government needs to find out from us, that's the SLB and the government, the state here in Jamaica, if this person is indebted to the government. According to Sergio, updating one's U.S. immigration status may require fully settling any outstanding loan, not just bringing payments up to date. And Nikisha Walsh did indicate as well in relation to those overseas, there were complaints about not being able to find out how much you owe, how your loan statement, what your loan statement looks like. And there's a new system now that came out a couple months ago that allows folks overseas, you're somewhere remote, not able to make it to the SLB to access your payment statements remotely. But as Lloyd pointed out, sometimes that system is not working, the online system is not working. He had said sometimes the portal doesn't work, sometimes the amount owed on the portal is incorrect, and even if you do go to SLB, your information isn't updated, so you can't get the actual figure you owe. So that's a complaint, Lloyd, that we will pass on to the SLB. What else are people saying in the chat?
Let me see. Leonard Seville says, those excuses are frivolous. How can you take a loan and write negligent? People often tell you the sweetest story to borrow your loan, which I think you said already, Tana. That's Philip Jackson. And Carlene said, law degrees are too many in Jamaica. I take that one a little personal, Carlene, but I also do agree. Quite a bit of us. Booker T, yes, no man, them come with story and you help them out with a loan, them totally forget about you. You ask feed and them bex with you. That's Oren 1876. Anake says students who did not finish their degree have chronic illnesses or in circumstances like having to take care of ill parents should be written off. Citizens pay education tax. University degrees should be free. I see Elsa Bill needs revamping. What is the interest rate? How could a student, a graduate, not understand that a loan should be repaid? Imagine the visa racket between ministries. Only embassies can impact the visa. That's OM Associates 6564. Cheryl says these students are very unfair. Grace says if borrowers care, they should, after studying, go into the SLB and ensure the system is set to receive their repayment. Too many have no interest in repaying. Shameful. Carlene says loans are good if taken for the right reasons. J.A. Queen says any Jamaican who don't repay their student loan, pay water and light bill, but live lavish lifestyle are worthless. That's why the government have it hard to help others. I see Yernetta Reed says you can say that again, especially family members. I was stupid enough to lend a close family member my university money some years ago. I only got back pittance and faced the attitude. I think quite a lot of people have mixed reviews on getting and helping persons with SLB. Said Good News says a lot of these persons say they're not paying back because they're going overseas. If SLB is serious, link the ministries and SLB databases to embassy and get them out. That is OM Associates. I also need us to understand that financial literacy is very low in our country. It's not implausible for people to not understand payback or things like that. That is Music Man C. I actually really disagree with that one, Music Man C. It's Likewise. Not a gift. It's an obligation. I give you something and you have these terms and agreements and you're supposed to give it back to me. That's a present. So you never put down any money to give anybody for them to know, just give it to you. So, I mean, financial literacy is important, but I don't think the absence of financial literacy should negate the responsibility of paying back. It's not yours. And it's a helping hand. You pay your part, you do it, you pay it forward for somebody else who would need to access the loan to pursue their studies. So, I mean, we can agree to disagree, and I definitely disagree with that one. Dahlia Shirley says, a lot of us Jamaicans feel entitled and think government should just forgive their debts. Freeness mentality is now a culture. That is Mildred Hamilton, 1290. And we're going through to see what you are all saying. Let me see.
Lots of comments coming in relation to this issue. I'll take a final one as we go to Across Jamaica. Good News says, Tana, SLB should set up something that whether you get a government or private job, it would trigger the system at SLB that you now have a job and that mandatory withdrawal from your salary is done.
Can apply for that though.
You can set that up.
Yeah,
you can set that up where it's compulsory, automatically withdrawn from your salary each month. But for those out there, though, who are struggling, Nikisha Walsh did point out that you can come in and do some sort of restructuring to how you want to pay. If it is that what is set down to be paid monthly is a bit onerous on you, too much for you to manage, especially if you have other obligations, payment obligations,
right,
go into the SLB. But that one about not knowing that you should pay back the loan,
can't agree with that one.
Yeah, especially because SLB has loans and SLB gives their students grants at a certain time of the year. So when them give you the grant, they clearly are telling you, okay, this is a grant. You don't have to pay that back. It's a grant. We're giving you money to help you out, whether it be with meals or other miscellaneous things. But the loan, man, that is self-explanatory, especially for folks who are in tertiary education.
Exactly.
I find that one hard to believe. We're going to take a break here on Nationwide this morning. Come back with Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales. For a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:02.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Thursday morning, Thursday, July 16, 2026. Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, Norman Brown, has cautioned that the anticipated scale of development in areas significantly damaged by Hurricane Melissa will require adequate technical expertise, institutional capability, and construction capacity. He was speaking at a panel discussion at the Recover and Rebuild Jamaica Expo in Montego Bay. He says the UDC is examining the availability of expertise required to carry out rebuilding projects successfully and to the appropriate standard. He says small and emerging contractors should be positioned to benefit from reconstruction and development activity. But he notes they must also strengthen the quality, consistency, and reliability of their work. Brown appealed for greater collaboration with construction sector organizations and professional bodies to improve standards and expand the pool of qualified contractors for public development projects. He says the UDC intends to advance affordable housing opportunities as part of the wider program of development for the affected region. Approximately 73 farmers have graduated from the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, Farmer Field School under the Cocoa Frosty Pod Rust Disease Management Program. JS News says the program adopts a farmer-centered approach to combating frosty pod rot disease in cocoa through an intensive 8-week training course. Cocoa farmers in Clarendon and St. Mary were targeted for the initiative, as the parishes are among the country's leading cocoa-producing areas. The Island Traffic Authority, ITA, has a new boss. Lieutenant Colonel Sheldon Bryan of the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, has been appointed Director General effective September 1. He has been seconded from the JDF with the approval of the Chief of Defence Staff and the Permanent Secretary. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says Lieutenant Colonel Bryan brings the good leadership skills, operational discipline, technological competence, and government experience required to lead the ITA through the next phase of its development. Lieutenant Colonel Bryan replaces another Armyman, Colonel Daniel Price. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Thursday morning.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
Portmore New Testament Church of God, celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, presents the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch worship experience. One night, one glorious worship encounter. Sunday, July 19 at 6 p.m. Victory Tabernacle, Bayside, Portmore. Gates open 5 p.m. Tickets pre-sold $3,500, VIP $7,000, pay-per-view $2,500 on SpurOpen.com or $4,500 at the gate. Children 12 and under, $1,200 at the gate. Tickets available at the Portmore New Testament Church office, Hopeline Pharmacy, Edgewater Medical, and Truly Me Weddings. Portmore New Testament Church of God Jubilee at the Kevin Downswell pre-album launch. There will be surprises.
A voice, a personality you love returns to Nationwide this August. Afternoons on air and online at Nationwide will never be the same.
What's really happening in your community? Well, get the facts from the people making the decisions. Join the conversation tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center for the Truth Matters series by the Jamaica Labour Party, starting at 5 p.m. and hosted live during Nationwide at 5. This public forum will bring you the latest facts and updates on local government, roadworks, culture and sport, industry and commerce, and justice. Come and hear from Ministers Desmond McKenzie, Olivia Babsy Grange, Delroy Chuck, Robert Morgan, Delano Seavright, and MP Dwayne Smith. So join us at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at 5 p.m. for The Truth Matters by the Jamaica Labour Party. And if you can't make it, tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 5 p.m. and catch the live stream on our YouTube channel, NNN Radio Live. Keep your dials locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. I see good news in the chat saying no Tana link the systems without the repair knowing. I think good news, there would be some legal challenges in relation to that. If it is that the SLB was just taking out the money and the borough had no say on that. Yeah, I think there would be some hurdles and some problems there. But I note your comment.
RGL Services 7944 says students must pay back the loan, not the guarantor. I see annual students taking 1 year before they seek employment. RGL Services continues to say that. Antoinette, very, very, very feistily says, pay back the money so others can get access to money when they need. Too selfish. Music Mancy says, not excusing it, just responding to someone who said earlier that it doesn't make sense that people don't know that they don't know they need to pay back. Also need to consider how it is explained when they are taking it. I don't know how much clearer it could be, but if that is what persons think, then that's what persons think. But I, as someone who has taken SLB, I thought those terms are pretty self-explanatory. It's very, very clear. Even if you don't know the minutiae, it's a loan, as you said, Tana. It's, I give you money, you need to pay it back. Certain agreements. That's really it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else persons are saying. Philip Jackson says, we have to balance our thoughts on this subject. Some persons fell on hardness or hard times. Some take advantage of the privilege. But we're not aloof to the fact that people fall on hard times. And as Tana said before, you go into the SLB, make arrangements. They haven't really shut their doors on that part. So if something is going wrong, there's still a leeway out of it. Antoinette says that is how it is in Canada. And if you don't pay back once, you get a tax refund or any tax credit, they take it. Okay.
And Herman says, don't co-sign for anyone. Well, how is it now? I think both guarantors they don't require guarantors anymore. So, yeah.
Let me see.
So the co-signing no longer necessary. Good News says, I already read that one.
Georgie Porgy Walton says, if I know say I can't afford a loan, I'm finding a side job. Yeah, you do have to do what you have to do. A Good News says how the system is it's the repair that do it, and it's on your own, and SLB don't know if they are working or not. See what other persons are saying.
Donna Llewellyn, like us, not convinced by that one about them not knowing that they need to repay. Donna says, so her producer Michelle says, listen, the agency's called Students Loan Bureau. Loan. Donna says, them sign, so them not read. Even before getting to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're coming in to borrow money. What do you do when you borrow money? At some point, you have to pay it back.
Carlene says, not knowing to repay means you probably failed your courses. LOL. Ouch.
They just said it. I think they just said it. They just picked an answer out the hat that was quickest in their mind. Listen, I didn't know. For example, an easy answer to give when you don't have an answer is, I didn't know.
True.
I don't know.
True.
I didn't know.
But it's kind of hard for we get ourselves out of this one. It's a loan, as we keep saying. We were talking on the break, and I don't think they do it anymore. But prior to even starting tertiary studies, I was very, very afraid of my face possibly being published in the newspaper if I were to go and take SLB, because that embarrassment everybody see, like. You don't think about that. And so I'm just curious as to how persons renege on their commitments if you're not concerned how it would look, how and how you're stopping the progress for somebody else. Because when I pay my loans and I honor my commitment, there's more money in the pool for somebody else. Like, you can't think for yourself. You can't operate so selfishly. We need to get our act together, guys. Get our act together.
Yeah. And Kevin Lawrence says, student loan is a loan, not a grant. At some, I won't read the rest of your comment, Kevin. But exactly.
Yvonne
exactly.
says
and student loan does both. those who are beneficiaries, you borrow to pay your tuition, and at some point, I know throughout the school year, you perhaps get a grant from the student loan. That money given to you, you're not going to pay back. They tell you that you can use, as I said, for meals or whatever else to help you out during a semester.
Yvonne Walter says a loan is plain and simple. You take it, so you must give back. I see also Daniel Allen says, good morning, NNN. A lot of our students, especially UE and UTech, say they have no intention to pay. The government should, and all intended to migrate. Butterbean says, me have a loan with access that I still pay. I don't want to be coming home and nobody hold on for me at airport. I fear that bad. Exactly. We don't want no embarrassment, so we honor our obligations. Sunny West 876 says, you take an SLB loan to earn a degree and get a job. Then you graduate and struggle to find work in Jamaica. Most people genuinely want to repay their loans, but job hunting is a struggle. We're not ignorant to the struggles of finding a job. That is understood. Again, we reiterate that the struggles exist. The SLB doesn't seem to be closing their ears on those struggles. It's a matter of coming in and having a conversation. Perhaps a more relaxed term policy could be in place. Something them can do something for you, as Jamaicans would say. So I think just sitting there on the struggles is not the answer. Go in and talk to the people then, because it's not your money. It's not your money. Let me see what else is going on in the chat. Thank you, Miss Campbell. That's why most become white-collar criminals. Them just thief. So no face on the comments on.
The Cornel says a lot of students really didn't understand that the loan would be incurring interest while studying. Georgie Porgy Walton says, can we tell the people, okay, that's on a different matter, but Georgie says, can we tell the people to stop burning down the hills to do farming? Yesterday, I saw them burning the hill, and worse, the time dry and hot, then to stop it. Totally agree. Yeah. And OM Associates says, truthfully, it is not unfathomable that people believe SLB loan is a gift. I have some friends who borrow and they think it was a gift.
You need to change your friend group. Your friend group needs to shake up its folly ground, because that's a very wayward way of thinking, respectfully.
What?
I don't understand how you thought. You put on nothing and give anybody anything to now walk away and say it's a gift?
J.A. Queen says, still get a job, pay a little on your loan until you get your dream job. Yeah. Kevin says, we need to see degrees as an option to open our entrepreneur skills. Yeah, that's a way to go these days. Bonnie says, what happens to those who migrate and still refuse to pay? Excuses, kissing my teeth. Bonnie, I don't know if you heard earlier, I was mentioning about Jamaica. The SLB had said that Jamaicans with outstanding student loans who migrate to the U.S. could encounter obstacles when updating or renewing their immigration status due to what was a partnership between Jamaica and U.S. governments aimed at tracking down borrowers with unpaid debts. At the time, that was in 2024, the manager of the loan servicing department at SLB, Cheryl Sturgeon, she had said that the new arrangement was designed to help identify Jamaican nationals in the U.S. who have outstanding loans, and she explained that the partnership addresses cases where professionals migrate and default on their loans, leaving the SLB with no way to track them. And part of the collaboration was that the U.S. immigration authorities would check with SLB to verify whether Jamaicans applying for visa renewals have any outstanding student loans. And it was said that persons who may have migrated on the J1 visa and want to renew their status with the U.S., before they can actually do that, there's an arrangement where the U.S. government needs to find out from Jamaica if this person is indebted to the government. So it's to hear from the SLB, was that operationalized and how is it going? Yeah.
Amy Sinclair says, these young people don't forget car loan or their hair and nails, but forget the student loan, all the shade being thrown. Listen, as a young girl, and I prioritize the hair and nails and such as well, I also prioritize my SLBs. As you get your little pay, you sort out your finances and you pay your SLBs. I think we need to get our priorities straight. Patrick Stern says, it's either Dream Weekend or Loan. Which one will win? Unita Reed says, Butterbean, good morning. When I hire workmen to work for me, I usually pay them before they start because I don't want anyone coming to my gate cursing that I owe them money.
And Bonnie says, yes, Ton, I heard you and fully agree with that arrangement with immigration. Yup. And Etta says, good morning, Etta. She says, it's not the poorest persons who do not repay. It's more a matter of priority. I got student loan for my studies and paid them back. My children took SLB and are paying back.
Right.
Some are opportunists.
I agree. Patrick Stern says, some fest or loan, which one will win? Jesus.
It seems that in many cases, some fest like matters are winning.
Your Celine Bowen says, make up a way on how to take it from their pay. Use your common sense to generate a job that can earn money. Some hands can get dirty. Doctors, nurses, and I clean, BM and are loan free. Okay. And I mean, of course, we were saying it before, there exist the options for you to do salary deduction, so it can be automatically withdrawn from your pay once you set that up. So, I mean, there are ways in which you can ensure you're honoring your obligation. Create your own jobs, plus raise chickens, hustle and pay back the loans. Cherry Care says, yeah, man, turn on and make fashion, the interest in having no money to pay back SLB. Good morning. My daughter started teaching last September. Every month she puts a little aside and she started paying this month. And that's what Sherry Williams said. And big up your daughter, Sherry. That is how it must go.
Honesty D says a lot of them is not because they can't pay it, it's because they don't want to. Government must prosecute the guarantors. If they can't get to the borrowers. No.
Well, luckily there are no more guarantors now.
Yeah, but for the cases before that was that was removed, I don't agree. I don't agree because many times a guarantor is not even your parent.
True, yeah.
It's a good mentor that has chosen to come on and be your guarantor to ensure that you can get a good start in life with a degree. So for go to the guarantor, no. And sometimes I've heard cases, Tamoy, where the guarantors can't even find the borrower.
Jesus.
They're calling them and say, listen, I haven't heard from her in years. So, how are you going to punish the guarantor in a situation like that?
And how people live with their conscience when you do things like that to other people. Like, think how somebody else might be in that situation. You put them under that pressure to find the money because you disappear. All I can do is sigh. Butterbean says, I took my loan from Ministry of Finance because I worked in the public sector and the interest was around 3%.
Wow.
I don't know if most public sector workers know that they can get a loan from MOF.
3%? Wow, that's fabulous.
Nice. Remember, you can't manage people. You just have to put rules in place to manage them. When you have to clock in, can you tell a lie about the time you came to work? Dishonest set. And that's Vernon Jacks Pinnock. In the United States, they don't care who you are. You have to repay your student loan, even if you become the president. Edgar Gordon 9182. Can't party your rent money. Gene Sellers is telling us. It's very true. Very true. Let's see what other persons are saying. Barbados and Trinidad have free tertiary education, and Jamaica wants to use so much tax money to track down Jamaican citizens. Education needs to be free. Okay.
Across the board, Anna K is suggesting here. And we'll take a final two. Glenn Bin says, I loan my niece the money to finish her degree. Oh, and she did throw a partner and pay that back and paid him back. How you do lovely. See. Big up your niece, Glenn Bins. And the final one here, Cherry Care says, when work is complete, then they get paid. Make sure you have the correct money put down for your workmen. A similar thing Cherry Care is saying that you should do with your student loan as well. When you finish work and you have your money set down, set aside the money for your student loan repayment. Financial management, money management, very important. We're going to take a break and come back with more.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
23.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 26 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
A voice, a personality you love returns to Nationwide this August. Afternoons on air and online at Nationwide will never be the same.
what's really happening in your community. Well, get the facts from the people making the decisions. Join the conversation tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center for the Truth Matters series by the Jamaica Labour Party, starting at 5 p.m. and hosted live during Nationwide at 5. This public forum will bring you the latest facts and updates on local government, roadworks, culture and sport, industry and commerce, and justice. Come and hear from Ministers Desmond McKenzie, Olivia Babsy Grange, Delroy Chuck, Robert Morgan, Delano Seavright, and MP Dwayne Smith. So join us at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at 5 p.m. for The Truth Matters by the Jamaica Labour Party. And if you can't make it, tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 5 p.m. and catch the live stream on our YouTube channel, NNN Radio Live. Keep your dials locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
On Tuesday, Renee found a buried breach and told herself it was a list. Rows on a screen. Today, one of the rows called back. Her name is Marva.
The breach I'd found was a list. Rows. I'd been a privacy officer for 9 days, and I still, God help me, thought of it as a list. A data protection problem with a data protection answer. Then one of the rows called me back.
You're the data person from Meridian. They gave me your extension. I've been passed along a lot.
I'm the data protection officer, yes. How can I
got refused a loan, a small one. For my sister's boy, school things, a uniform, the registration. The lady at the counter wouldn't look at me. Said there was a note, a health note, something on my record. I'm a nurse, miss. 22 years on the ward. I know what's in my file and I know what I've told people, and I have never once told a bank I was sick. So how did they know? Where did they get it?
She wasn't crying. That's the part I need you to hear. She wasn't asking me to feel sorry for her. She was asking a question I am supposed to have an answer to. Where did they get it? And she had every right to that answer. The law says so. You're allowed to ask what an organization holds about you and why and where it came from. It's called an access right. It's hers. Not a favor, not a kindness. Hers.
22 years I've kept other people's secrets, their charts, their worst days. I never once carried a single one of them out of that ward, and a bank I've never worked for knows I was ill before my own son does. You tell me how that's fair.
It isn't. And you're allowed to make them show you everything they hold about you and where it came from. I can help you ask. I'll write it with you.
People usually help by telling me to be patient.
I'm not going to tell you to be patient. It was the first promise I made in that job that I actually meant. It was also, though I had no idea yet, the crowbar. The exact tool handed to me across a kitchen table by the person it had already cost the most. She gave me her file number and her sister's name for the school in case it helped, and she thanked me twice, and neither thank you was really for me. They were for the idea. The idea that someone, finally, was going to write it down instead of telling her to be patient. I went back to the buried list. 4 months old, closed in a hurry, never reported. I searched it for her. Nurse. 22 years. A name I now knew how to say. And there she was. Her health flag, her ID, sitting in the batch that had been copied out and walked away with, months before a bank ever looked her in the eye and said no. The breach nobody reported wasn't a list. It was Marva. It had always been Marva. And 100,000 people I hadn't met yet, each one a kitchen, a sister's boy, a life quietly being decided in a room they'd never see. And the alarm that should have screamed for every one of them had been carried very gently into a drawer by someone who then, I would bet my life, went to lunch. I stopped calling it a data protection problem that night. It had never been that. It was a woman who'd kept the whole city's secrets and been robbed of her own, and a hand that closed a door on her and reached for a sandwich. And me, 9 days in, no power, no allies, a charter with the spine cut out. The only person in a company of thousands who had looked. They should have been terrified it was only me. They weren't. And that is what should have terrified me.
Everything you just heard rests on one real right. Under the Act, Marva can ask any organization what it holds about her and where it came from, and they have to answer. It is called an access right. It isn't a favor. It is hers, and it is yours. Here is the part that should sit with you. Marva kept a whole city's secrets and lost her own to an organization she never worked for. Most breaches aren't rows. They are people who will never be told the real reason. Marva's request is one anyone can make, and one every organization has to answer. We have put the data subject access request template you can actually send in the notes. Go to our website at designprivacy.io and download your data subject access request template. This has been Data Protection Matters. I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next Tuesday.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Rebuild with standards, rebuild with confidence. Test your blocks, concrete, cement, aggregates, and other building materials at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ, building a nation, test by test. The time by the BSJ is
8:32.
Feel the rhythm of nature at the world-famous Duns River Falls and Park, one of Jamaica's most iconic experiences. The temperature by the Urban Development Corporation is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 26 degrees Celsius in cool Mandeville.
Win with KFC, big league, join the league. Win a trip to Brazil, all you mean? Yeah. Big deal, meal deal, big match. Just buy KFC and win that. From now until July 20th, 2026, buy a big deal or meal deal for a chance to win a trip for two to Brazil. Courtesy of KFC. That's $500,000 cash from Best Dressed Chicken. 11 weekly winners score free KFC for a year. 65-inch TVs, smartphones, and more. Just WhatsApp your receipt to 876-784-7811 to enter and win big in the KFC Big League. Conditions apply.
Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting Gaming and Lotteries.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Enjoy peace of mind knowing that your hard-earned money is protected by the JDIC, That's right. The JDIC through the Deposit Insurance Scheme guarantees up to $1.2 million of your deposits in commercial banks, merchant banks, and building societies. This means your deposits, such as your savings and checking accounts, are covered. Rest easy, knowing that your deposits are secure. Your deposits always protected. For more information, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JDICJAM, or visit our website at www.jdic.org.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
What's really happening in your community? Well, get the facts from the people making the decisions. Join the conversation tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center for the Truth Matters series by the Jamaica Labour Party, starting at 5 p.m. and hosted live during Nationwide at 5. This public forum will bring you the latest facts and updates on local government, roadworks, culture and sport, industry and commerce, and justice. Come and hear from Ministers Desmond McKenzie, Olivia Babsy Grange, Delroy Chuck, Robert Morgan, Delano Seavright, and MP Dwayne Smith. So join us at the Sherlock Crescent Community Cultural Center tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at 5 p.m. for The Truth Matters by the Jamaica Labour Party. And if you can't make it, tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 5 p.m. and catch the live stream on our YouTube channel, NNN Radio Live. Keep your dials locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's that time of the morning when we take your calls. The number is 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-6730. Call us and let us know, did you watch the match yesterday? And what's your reaction? You want to give us your reaction, Jermaine? You want to be a caller this morning? You're fine. You're fine. I see Sasha here in the chat saying one Argentina for World Cup Sunday. I see Annie saying Ernetta, England versus France on Saturday. What's your prediction? Cheryl jumping in to say Annie, responding to Annie saying, Annie, I think France will play their usual game and win. And Annie saying as well, Spain has removed the visa requirements for citizens of 9 CARICOM countries. Why was Jamaica not included? Annie's asking. And I see Cherry Care commenting on, it seems to do with the education sector, saying some degrees are no use. It's better you go learn a trade and work for yourself, whether you be a bricklayer or an electrician, etc. And she says, in London, a plasterer gets £1,000 or more a week tax-free. Mm-hmm. Who's our first call of the morning? Petal, good morning.
Morning, Petal.
Morning.
Petal. I don't know what you call me though. Good morning.
You know I love you same way. Jeremy, big up yourself. We're on the winning side.
Petal, him said that is it. You're a happy camper this morning.
Yes, I told him to tell you it's best you get on the Argentina bandwagon because Spain mess up your side. So better you go and cheer for Argentina to beat them. Anyway, let me tell you, Argentina can't play Sunday. Them have to come play because Spain play ball. Argentina is a good team because Argentina is a team player. You know what happened with France?
Yes.
They gave up as a team.
I agree.
They weren't playing as a team. Even at the last 20 minutes, it's like Mr. Mbappe upon the thing by himself. And that's not good.
Yeah, I agree.
You see how them shut down Messi and where Messi do?
He found his other guys. Yeah.
You have to do that, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But there's just something about this Argentina team, though, when it comes to working under pressure.
You see it.
it's amazing.
Port Desert, listen to me, that match, and even the one with Egypt.
With each, all of those
Yes,
3 matches
yes,
now under pressure, and but even the match with Switzerland was a bit pressuring too. But there's just something about them when you think they're done and dusted. They're like, hold my knapsack. I'm not done yet.
Anyway, may I big up France face.
Thank you, Petal. I hope we do get the win on Saturday going up against England.
Our new
Jermaine say yawn. Shush, we're not talking about you, Jermaine.
Our new host, Miss Campbell. What's Miss Campbell's first name?
Tamoy.
Hi, Petal.
Hi, Tamoy. We will come meet you too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We will come meet you too. When the East Indians them start again, about the end of July or the early August, we will come meet you.
So Tamoy Petal is our mango provider.
Oh.
Avid listener of NNN, part of the family, and every year we look forward to the mangoes coming in. Okay. We've already received some, so she's saying when the East Indian come in, she'll be back again.
All right, I'm looking forward to my share, Petal.
All right, darling. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Petal, for calling in.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Marlene. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning, both of you in the studio.
You're an Argentina fan to Anthony?
For my team of Brazil.
Oh.
Yes, Brazil from before me born.
Oh, okay. How you enjoying the World Cup?
Well, I enjoy, especially when France gone home.
Whoa! Whoa, Anthony, whoa. No! You bold me. Why you stay so?
You said before France play, man, me and my wife, they said, why? I hope they get beaten. I hope. Yes, man.
Why you don't like France?
Why do I not like France?
No,
but me just like them.
No, man. No, Anthony, no, man. But the boys have such a good family spirit.
Oh, my Lord.
They're great. Many of them are great players. And them not doing nothing, Anthony.
The only thing they want to know is Mbappe to get more goal. That's this man from Argentina, not pass and go and let him.
Yeah, but
they want to come. I don't like him if he get the goal and shoes.
Well, it's not done and dusted yet. There's still a match to come. Right. So the third place game is on Saturday.
Yes.
France against England. So we'll see what happened there if Kylian scores any more goals. And then Argentina's will go up against Spain on Sunday for the final. We'll see what Messi produces in that game.
Yes.
So it's still, both of them, I think, are 8-8. 8-8 apiece.
Yes. But you see, there is none like Brazil because Brazil only World Cup the most. So none of them know them near we.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about, though, the SLB.
Yes.
How can somebody borrow money from that institution and not remember saying to pay it up?
It's not that them don't remember, They're saying they didn't know that it was that they had to pay it back. They thought it was a gift. Free money. It was like a grant.
When they go in for the interview and all of those stuff, they're not telling nothing about no gifts or what.
That definitely happens. It's a loan.
Yes.
It's a loan. Yeah. Everything about SLB tells you it's a loan.
Yes. And some of them just get themselves in some difficulties when they just can't pay it back.
And maybe the easy answer, as I was saying to Tamoy earlier, was just to say, I never know.
Yeah, and some of them just don't want to pay it back.
There's that too.
And that is dishonesty because it is other people want it also, and it's a revolving thing.
It is. The more
but
people pay back, the more people can benefit.
But no, people must be straight up in the All right, let's hear somebody else jump on.
All right, Anthony, the Brazil man. Thank you so much for calling. Carlene in the chat saying Argentina #1 team, perseverance conquers all. And Shelly says too hype. Which team Shelly I talk about now? It says Anthony, you're bad. No, sir. You know, I have no sympathy for TT. May I tell you, them rub me out,
Bad, bad.
Them rub me out on YouTube. Them rub me out on Instagram. Me get tagged on X.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
if anybody called in to the post-game show and rubbed me out too. Them rub me out in a newsroom. Them rub me out on WhatsApp status. Them rub me out in the DMs. I'm tired. If France not give me no, and guess what now, Tamoy? If I don't get the third place on Saturday, no, I can prepare myself, for a second round of robots.
For your sake, Tana, we're praying that France pulls through. Don't worry about Tana, no more people.
Yeah. And Cheryl says Mbappe can still win the boot. Yeah, that's what I was saying to Anthony. That's still in play. Shanique says, wait, I just tuned in. Who is this new person? So introduce yourself.
Hi, Shanique. The new person is Tamoy Campbell. I'm here on a Thursday with Tana. It's TT and TC for Thursdays. Yes, we're nice to do a nice little combo here.
Yeah.
So happy to see you. Yes.
So Shanique, you got your introduction there. Annie Smith says, yes, Tana, you get robot bad. Yeah, I saw it. And Annie says, friendly bands. Yeah, man, certainly. Friendly bands are all around. Much of it. And how could I forget how many wellness check-ins I got?
Oh, God.
Including one from Jermaine. We get hope a wellness check. Are you okay? Should we send over a doctor? So I got a lot of wellness checks as well. And KJW says, we stand with France, Tana. Indeed. We win together, we lose together. And Popper says, you should have seen the YouTube chat, Tana. No, I saw it, Popper. I just remained silent. I saw it.
It's reasons like this why I'm glad I don't carry no team. I just root for everybody, and everybody will look nice. That's all about it. That's for me.
There's something about when you carry a team, though, and you're invested. It brings out a different kind of energy and passion.
And possibility of being rubbed out. Me no want that, Tana, so you can keep it.
And possibility of being victorious, So that's all in the game of football. That's all in the game of a competition. And Annie says, Mark Pear, she's responding to something Mark Pierce said, and Kurt Buchanan says, "We're not giving up on Mbappe for the golden boot. Me either. Keeping fingers crossed." Herman says, "Tana, we'll rub you out on YouTube." Yeah, me see Herman, but it's missed the whole of the comments there. Miss them. I'm just have to laugh. And YouTube Delavante says, "Tana, them rub you out like first time slate."
Jesus. So me never get that. Me can't tell
proper robot. Listen, me have to brave up and say, watch me tomorrow. Me come in with a France jersey on the stadium. Me nearly put on the beret too. Oh gosh. And Sandra is coming tomorrow. So Sandra will get robot too as a France supporter. Cameron Gill says, France, all the way, a lot of France flag emojis. Wandred said, we win together, we lose together. Indeed.
That's the spirit.
That's Terry, a scandal. But Eddie Taino, who is also a France supporter, so she take it to heart out for the week. And Cameron, we read your comment. Cameron saying France all the way. And a final one here. Arlene Rose says, Tana, I sent V-Day greetings yesterday, but I didn't read it. All right, Arlene, good morning to you. Just drop it back in the chat because we're going to the birthdays now.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:47.
Always with us now. It's always with me, yeah. God bless us all, each and every one of us. It's always with us now. So I pray. Life is a circle that goes round and round. Mine's not a circus, and I'm not your clown. Some people with us, some with their frown. It's Still I know my purpose is to share what we found. Some people insist to wear others down. And all will bear witness unto who wears the crown. Good God.
It's that time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. Seeing here, Arlene Rowe, I'm seeing your birthday greetings. Arlene Rowe is sending belated birthday blessings to her first grandchild, my awesome granddaughter, Brittany Campbell, in Queens, New York. Your birthday was yesterday. Belated happy birthday greetings to you coming from your mom, Cher, your son, Jace, your dad, Joel, and of course, your grandma, Arlene Rowe, and the rest of the family. Wishing you belated happy birthday greetings, your siblings. So it's coming from, again, your mom, Cher, your son, Jace, dad, Joel, and your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, nieces, nephews, and friends. And Arlene seems to be suggesting here that you had a great day yesterday, so that's fantastic. And oh, she says you got a great gift. Oh, so Brittany, your side is Argentina, and your grandma is saying you got a great gift because your side Argentina won yesterday. So belated happy birthday greetings to you, Brittany, the granddaughter of Arlene Rowe.
I see Michael Bailey saying happy birthday to my sis Zane Drisdale, my adopted daughter from Pastor Bailey. Love you, baby girl. May God bless you continuously. So happy birthday, Zane, and we hope you have a great day.
Happy birthday greetings going out. This one says to my amazing wife, Trisha Greenwood Phillips. I thank God for placing you in my life. I am forever grateful for the love that you have given me and how, as a wife and a mother to her daughter, you continuously demonstrate the character of the virtuous woman spoken about in Proverbs 31. On this your special day, I want to let you know how much Kaylee and I love and appreciate you and pray that God will bless you with good health and many more wonderful years to come. Happy birthday, my love. So Lady Trisha Greenwood Phillips, it's your birthday today, and your husband is sending you happy birthday greetings.
Donna Llewellyn says happy birthday to my sister Iona Robinson of Newfield, Newport. She cooked comport good. She's off the island and she hopes she enjoys herself. I remember the foreign suite to them from Dorcas Women at CCCWC. So happy birthday, Iona Robinson, and don't forget the foreign suite to them. For Fax P92, yes, I am a lawyer. I am.
Miss Chin sending a birthday greeting. She says, today is the birthday of, oh really, the House Speaker.
Ooh.
Juliet Holness's birthday is today. Oh, happy birthday to Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, wishing for you a great day. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold,
again, happy birthday to Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, celebrating her birthday today. Also seeing Delano Kemps sending happy birthday to Marcel Campbell. I wish you all the best and God's richest blessings. So Marcel Campbell, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Roxanne Wellington sending happy birthday to her niece, Kamika Cranston in the USA. Love you. Enjoy your day. So Kamika Cranston, the niece of Roxanne Wellington, happy birthday to you.
Rich Lauren says, happy birthday to Stephen Farron from the Mentorship Committee and the St. George's College All Boys Association. Continue to serve our children. Cheers, bro. Now for blessings. So happy birthday to you, Stephen Farron. And we hope you have an amazing day today.
I'm seeing this one as well from Marcus Parkinson, sending happy birthday greetings to a wonderful mentor and friend, Pat Reed Wall, 78 years old today. Wow. Good morning to you, Miss Pat. It's your birthday today, Pat Reed Wall. Happy birthday to you. And it's coming from your mentee, Marcus Parkinson.
Ernetta Reed says, wishing you a happy birthday, Cameron Gale. May God bless you with long life and good health. Enjoy your special day. Happy birthday, Cameron. We hope you have a great day.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Judave Brown at JSIF. Celebrating your birthday today, Judave. Happy birthday. And it's coming from Maxine and the rest of the JSIF family. Happy birthday.
Ryder 40 says, sending birthday greetings to Kay Ellis. Happy birthday, Kay. We hope you have a great day. I can't let the show end, and not big up this special person, Tano.
Mm-hmm.
This person is perhaps the wings, what's it called? The wings beneath my wings, the wind beneath my wings, whatever the term is. The special person in my life, I want to say happy birthday to my daddy. I know he's listening. My daddy from my Come On Nationwide watches it every single Thursday. Happy birthday, daddy. I hope you have an amazing day. It's going to be an amazing day because we have lots of stuff to do today. And I love you so much. So happy birthday, daddy. One Brian Campbell and never two. That's my daddy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Sir Campbell, from the folks here at Nationwide and myself. Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a lovely one and hope that whatever you ask Tamoy for today, she will provide it.
She don't stress me out.
Well, happy birthday to you. Cheryl is saying that today is her birthday. Good morning again to you, Lady Cheryl, in our YouTube chat. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We're wishing for you a fabulous day, however you wish to spend it, and hoping that your loved ones around you, that whatever you ask them for as well, as I'm saying that, whatever Sir Campbell asked Tamoy for, she will provide. Whatever you ask of your family today, that they will provide it for you. Cheryl in our chat, celebrating her special day today. Happy birthday to you. And I see, others wishing the House Speaker happy birthday as well. Martin Sylvia saying happy birthday to her son, Christopher Thomas, in Brian's Peace, Clarendon. And it's coming from your mommy. So Christopher Thomas, your mommy, is sending you happy birthday greetings, wishing for you a great one.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here.
And some final ones here. Our friends on Facebook, Steneth Robinson, happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Verona Edwards, Karen Layla, Vanessa Brown, Samantha Noack, Alfonso Fraser. Happy birthday as well to Patrice Dubidad, Richard Gale. Happy birthday. Wishing for you guys a great day. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And if it's your anniversary, happy anniversary as well.
And the eagle takes to flight.
So,
From a distance,
that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Thanks to our technical operator, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCray Smith, and Dunstan Baker sending happy birthday to my son's mom. So, to Dominic's mom, that's Dunstan's son, Dominic's mom, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, beautiful lady. Wishing for you a great one as well. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
And I'm Tamoy.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common land, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man.
It's time for Hot Listings, Nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and fast results.
Escape to a stylish one-bedroom retreat in the heart of Kingston. This modern suite offers comfort, tranquility, and 24/7 security. Enjoy premium amenities including a swimming pool, rooftop lounge with panoramic city views, and ample parking. Located 30 minutes from the Norman Manley Airport and major attractions. Call us today at 876-796-9744 or visit us on Instagram at charmingsuite_Airbnb for booking details. Start planning your perfect getaway today. Choose the Charming Suites at the Vineyards.
That was Hot Listings,